Hello and welcome to Everyday Eternal number 141, your favorite most of Subclassina and Bi-Weekly Legacy podcast. Today's show is brought to you by only just us, no new Patreons, but we have so many Patreons on Discord already, so shout outs to everybody there. If you want to support the running of the show directly, you can support us on patreon.com/everydayeternal. Guys, so good to be back on. We are almost ready, right, for one of the biggest Magic events of the year. How have you guys been preparing for 4 seasons in Bologna going down this weekend?
It's a very interesting use of the word ready.
The moment I said it, I was like, this is so wrong.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't think I've ever been this unready for a big event.
You guys have got me playing Vintage, and I haven't played a game of Vintage for like 2 years.
Dude, are you kidding me?
What's the worst that could happen?
Dude, like, I did my prep, I did my homework, I played a little more Modern last week.
I've got like an hour tomorrow night, and then, yeah, we're good. Like,
I'm just waiting for Callum to actually be carrying our team in the end.
Yeah, Kai, last year you went 4-2, right?
Yeah,
I think
maybe
so. All right, I'm gonna beat that.
But, just do please register those Power 9 Moxim. Just skip on that Time Twister because that card sucks.
That card does suck.
From what I've seen on Twitter, like basically the most broken deck that was just quote unquote discovered. Like I like, by the way, I love how we talk about like decks being discovered as if they were like some ancient artifacts, like Indiana Jones style.
Is it Initiative Tinker?
Always been.
Yeah, Initiative Tinker, right?
Yeah.
Are you playing that?
God no, I don't know.
What the fuck, dude? That's the best. I would buy into the hype and Vintage any day of the week. What are you gonna play?
It all seems really hard.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's why you play Initiative, man.
Maybe no, I can't bring myself to do it.
What you play something like, I don't know, like PO or something. That's something.
That
easy.
seems really hard as well.
Yeah.
But like, don't people steal the Initiative back with like Blightsea Colossus and like all that kind of?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing you have to worry about, right?
Because that Blightsea Colossus freaking stole the Initiative. Holy shit!
Because your Solitudes and stuff and Source Spouches won't help you there. I want to play. I want to play Squeevine, but it seems hard. I should practice it.
Oh, dude, that deck is so much fun. I think.
Yeah,
that deck plays like Delver.
Yeah, it is basic Delver, and I love Root Wallers, and I love Vengevine, so we'll see.
I love Squeeze.
Yeah. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can certainly do well. Like I didn't know at all what I was doing when I played it, and I had a ton of fun.
That is the problem. I have a rough idea, but yeah.
Do you even have like at least a list or something?
No, but I'll copy Jujubin.
Just okay. Well, you can do that, or just go ask Justin.
Yeah,
Justin actually like resigned from Twitter for like a week or something because he's taking some kind of holiday or something.
I also feel like Justin just gets so many messages saying, "Hey, what should I play in Vintage?" And I get them sometimes about Legacy, whatever, and they can be very exhausting. So I'm not going to message him.
Yeah, I basically messaged him twice a week.
I mean, Callum, could you do us like a favor and just hang out with Justin? Just the two of you guys, maybe for like an hour or something before the event. Just have breakfast together. And then come back, and then,
I'll give it a try.
You guys have no idea, and speaking of like requests and stuff, how many messages I get a week still from people asking for like a sideboard guide for elves, combo elves.
Yeah, for 2011.
There's some real lack and desperation in the market right now that somebody could take advantage of. So Kai, if you want to become the next elf lord, the reins are yours.
So Julian's the painter guy now, so I'm going to redirect all painter questions to you.
Yeah. The mailbox is open.
Oh, yeah. Kai Savatari at savatarix.com. No, actually, I have no idea how it works.
Savatarix.
Elf Lords, Elf Counseling at savatarix.com.
Please submit your favorite Lodova elf questions.
Oh, did you see the thing I posted on Twitter today? Like on Instagram.
I saw that.
I got this random follow from elves only. Only elves. And I clicked it, and it was like, it was a 9th edition Lanoa elves with like a huge ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally...
what did you expect?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like that tweet is doing really well. And I was like, okay, this... whatever, man.
I think the better joke would have been there's no elves on the profile at all.
That's just ass.
Oh, sure, yeah.
No, apparently it was done by some, I want to say Brazilian guy. Is Alex Isidro, Brazilian MTG card alterator. Yeah, okay, only elves. Check it out on Instagram if you want to see a Lanoa elf with a huge big booty.
Speaking of Lanoa elves with a huge booty, Kai, what have you been up to recently?
Speaking of bad magic cards, I played Delver at the Showcase Challenge and got my balls kicked like really hard. And by Delver, I mean like I played all the cards that are legal that are played in usually in Brewer Delver, except that I caught all the good creatures, and I just put in like crappy Cephalid Illusionists and Nomads and Cores. but it was essentially the same deck, dude. Like it played Expressive Iteration, Brainstorm Ponder.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, Days Force will even Vicious Baubles, dude. Because I wanted to, and then like,
Expressive Iteration ain't that good. Like, I'm gonna say it here. I've always been the guy who feels like, okay, Expressive Iteration is good, but not like ban-worthy good. But, dude, stop putting Expressive Iteration in every single deck.
Oh, like, dude, this deck color blocked me so hard. I couldn't even cast Expressive Iteration. I think 3 out of 4 times it was just like in my hand.
Might as well have been
just doing nothing. Yeah. So basically, I cut the Murktides and Dragon's Rage Channeler Delver and put in Ursa Saga, Nomads and Core Shuko, and Cephalid Illusionist.
What's the worst that can happen? Yeah.
Dude,
that you still call it Delver.
It was such a disgrace and abomination. Holy moly. It was probably
this looks like some file transfer error that happened when you downloaded the deck, and Chaos just going like, okay, I'm gonna roll with it.
No,
whatever.
like, I mean, what you do? Now. Yeah, I mean, this is 2023, right? You got like AI, and that's the future. So you basically, just mash 2 decks together and just see what happens. And that was probably the worst deck I've ever played at any challenge / showcase event.
And other people would feel embarrassed to admit this, but I've had concerningly long conversations with ChatGPT about Legacy and deck lists. And yeah, I tried to get some wisdom out of it, but it kept giving me like the worst deck list you could imagine. And it also insisted that like Andrea Mengucci won every other tournament in the history of Magic, and if it wasn't Andrea, it was like, oh, actually, I am right. You are right. It was Brian Kibler. Like, do you know any other Magic players other than Andrea and Brian Kibler? I was like, no.
Yeah, dude, that's the future.
So Kai, how come you actually played that shit?
Because I had very limited time, and there is an actual paper event coming up, next weekend, and I basically took the Showcase Challenge as the ultimate test to find out if that pile of dog shit was even playable, and was not. So last time you did this, we received complaints that the deck that you played and that we labeled as dog shit actually did reasonably well. So where did you actually find this list? No, I just threw it together. Like I saw.
Okay, never mind. We move on. This is bullshit crap.
Like,
it's from Trunkatoni.
Dude, like, yeah, I also saw like I saw it from Max Torsion first, but I guess there are like a lot of people, especially in
Max. Sure.
Especially like in the Cephalid Discord. I think I've seen like a couple of this with splashing like 1 or 2 Expressive Iteration, or maybe 3, and I was like, dude, I mean, like if you want to put a card on the test, you better play the full play set, so you can draw it more often, and you can just get more reps in, and then I was like, my initial thought was, well, if you play a full set of Expressive Iteration, you also want to add some 0 mana cards. Well, I couldn't think of anything else. Then I mean, like Memnite is just not good enough for Legacy, so I put in Vicious Bauble.
Oh, how creative of you, Darren.
I don't like those words you're saying there. Memnite's pretty sweet.
I don't even hate it all that much, considering that like Cephalid Breakfast is like a 1 or 2 mana deck, but then you go and you splash like a 4th color into it or something.
Yeah, like, dude, you have like Underground Sea Ursa Saga, and then you draw Expressive Iteration. You're like, holy shit, I hate myself so much.
Yeah, or like Savannah. Or
and I know you bastards are playing Meltdown as well. I see what you're doing. I know what's up.
Dude, I play Meltdown as the Ursa Saga Ether Vial Shuko deck. Like, what the heck, dude? That is
what
just
has happened to your life, man?
Dude, while Delver boards Meltdown against you, but it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah. You lost control over your life, Kai. That's what we love you.
Yeah, thank you. So if anyone wants to play that pile at the 4-season tournament, please don't, because you will probably regret it for the rest of your life, and you're probably gonna hate yourself. So
I will just add a big caveat that Tony, aka Aegis, he's like 22-4 with the deck, so maybe it's pilot. Who knows? Like it's anyone's guess.
What, Aegis is not Tony Scaponis, but it's Tony.
That's Truckatoni.
Oh, what? Tony
Grape
Laverde
shot.
does that.
Tony Laverde, yeah.
We have. I keep saying this on the podcast, but we have too many Tonys in
way
Legacy.
too many Tonys.
Also, didn't Tony Laverde actually go by Anthony? Like, at least he announced that. But he lied to me so many times. Like, for years, I thought he was a literal trucker, like going around the East Coast.
And no one ever ruined the joke, but yeah. He's not a trucker.
Well, it's not even a joke. It's just like we didn't even joke about it. He just like said that, and I took it for like granted.
Well, he is actually a trucker, you know.
Nah, you're not gonna reverse fuck me over.
He was.
You know what? You know what, guys? It was like one big play though at the showcase challenge. Like, it was also spoiler alert. I won 3 dropped. So that was
I guess for anybody who wants to watch the 2-hour league. Guy did not win the tournament.
Dude, like so I played at the first round. I played against Show and Tell, like Seek and Show, and it was like a lot of like counter wars back and forth, and my opponent eventually resolved Show and Tell, right? And I already had Konormats and Core in play, and I had a Cephalid Illusionist in hand. I was like, okay, well, that's not the end of the world. And my opponent put Griselbrand in play, and I put Cephalid into play, and I got the combo. I take my turn, untap, activate Cephalid a few times, activate Nomads and Core a few times, just to realize that my opponent is at still like super healthy 18 life, and I can, like my Cabal Therapies can't beat them, right? Because I'm gonna flashback Cabal Therapy on Force of Will. They're probably gonna let it resolve, and then in response to Dread Return, they can still draw 14 and just kill me.
Opponent, these smart next level plays. Are they capable of it?
Well, like,
of course,
yeah. And so, like, I was thinking, well, I can't just wait and just do nothing. So I kind of went all in, went for the Cabal Therapy, even hit a Force of Will. And then I went for the Dread Return. Opponent draws 14, and I was sitting there like ready to just see my life getting crushed in pieces. And then my opponent didn't find a Force of Will, but instead he misdirected my Dread Return. God. Dude, and I'm looking at my graveyard. It's like, dude, there's so many just awful targets in my graveyard. And like, what do I get instead? So I ended up with 2 Cephalid Illusionists in play.
Oh, not even Narcomoeba?
Not even Narcomoeba.
Oh, they're already coming to play, of course. Yeah.
I was I mean, I already sacked them for Dread Return.
Yeah, they should have brought one back.
Only to get them back. Oh my goodness.
They're sticky, man. Can't get rid of those moobas.
That was the play of the day, and dude, I love Misdirection. Like, Misdirection is just an awesome Magic card.
I just love how the opponent's gonna sit there and be like, okay. Anything else? My turn? Crash in.
they probably had like multiple forces as well. But misdirection.
I mean, why would you ever want to force something if you can like misdirect? Yeah, just saying.
It's way better.
I guess that's part of why the deck plays Teferi a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, as you should. Yeah.
I guess Teferi doesn't really go all that well with Expressive Iteration. Like, you don't really like 3. I guess you could.
I mean, like, if you're a sicko, then you play Teferi as well. Like, in addition to all these like terrible multicolor spells.
But
I mean,
Julian,
I played 2 copies. So.
You can instant speed the iterations.
Hey. Yeah. I would also not play Iteration in the first place. Yeah.
So
I've actually never been that big of a fan of Teferi, even though I think it's good, decent.
Have you ever played an A+B combo with Teferi in play? It feels so safe though. You like
I rarely ever play A+B combos. That's the guy who plays Painter.
Yeah.
Okay. Point taken. Yeah, it feels good. It feels good until you get taken out by Fairy Macabre.
Yes. That's why I have 4 Fairy Macabre in my sideboard at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
Like not gonna lie, like Fairy Macabre is like one of the like I don't want to call it like new tech because the card is like super duper old, but I don't know what happened, but Fairy Macabre is really high on that graveyard hate tier list. I
mean, Cephalid Breakfast is a big reason for that, right?
Yeah.
And I guess the other one would be like Black Red Reanimator if they go for like Chancellor, but. Like, Black Red Reanimator doesn't go for a turn 1 with Chancellor protection all that often, really, to
chances are
difference.
Pretty much cut, but yeah, like I moved to Fairies about a month ago, and while Cephalid Breakfast is one of the top 5 decks, I think it's the right thing to do. But it's also just like, as the deck becomes standard, it was Leylands for a while, but I wanted either surgical or leyline because everything dies to Serenity and shit, or gets bounced by Teferi. So you want to mix it up because people are bringing in artifact or enchantment removal against you anyway as painter. So I don't know, Fairy just makes a ton of sense at the moment. I think, yeah, I agree. More people should be playing it. There's also all these like Once Upon a Time decks that probably should be playing it as well.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why I added like 2 copies of Grand Abolish on the sideboard, because that even says no to Fairy Macabre, which is I think
Grand
like
Abolish is amazing.
Dude, that is a crazy Magic card, especially if it comes out of an Ether Vial.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I remember that in 2009 I played against the deck, Stuff for Breakfast, and I will never forget, I was sitting in the basement because I was at the lower tables, and my opponent just goes, end of turn, activate Vial for 2, and I immediately knew what was gonna happen. I was like, this feels so unfair. This is the most unfair thing I've ever experienced in my life. But I mean, that was Legacy back in 2009, right? So, I mean, here we are today.
Do you know the Grand Abolisher flavor text, Kai?
Oh shit, it has a flavor text?
No, it's a trick question. No, it does.
Oh, Callum. When Callum wins the Entertainment Award of the Year.
No, it does. I just Googled it to make sure it said activates abilities as well, and it's got some pretty cool flavor text. Your superstitions and mumblings are useless chaff before my righteousness.
I should really say that.
It's pretty hardcore.
Imagine if you literally said that every time.
Just, like,
activate Violent 2, hold priority. Your superstitions
mumblings
and
are
mumblings
useless
chaff.
Is there actually any way around, like, let's say you go for the combo and you have Grand Abolisher in place, there must be something that you can do, right? I mean,
I don't think
activated
so.
abilities being stopped, that's already kind of harsh. Like,
you
can't play a card, you can't activate an ability.
Let me just search for one.
You
card.
could take a special action. Special actions are not activated abilities, like unmorphing a morph.
Yeah.
Willbender, here we go. Or is that an activated ability though? An activated ability? No, it's not an ability. It doesn't use the stack. Willbender should work, I think. Did I break Legacy? Should we see Willbender back into the format? But I guess back is already like, okay.
Like you can always dress down in response to Grand Abolisher, like in the end step, for example.
Oh, in the end step. Ooh.
You know what's even better? You can, if it's Shuko, it doesn't work with the No Man's Land core, but you can cycle Slice and Dice.
That is actually pretty sick. Yeah, I haven't even thought about that.
Wait, was Grand Abolisher on play?
That is so cool.
Yeah.
How would that work?
It's the activated ability of a sorcery instant. Those are okay.
Yeah. Although...
Wait, that doesn't Grand Abolisher say you can't activate like abilities at all?
Yeah, it's
but
artifacts, creatures, or enchantments.
Enchantments only.
Okay, then there's like infinite ways around it still. Okay, never mind. Card sucks.
You know,
but you can't like twin shot sniper or Fairy Macabre.
You can cycle Decree of Pain or something. You know.
Yeah, true.
But if it says like creatures can't activate or creature cards,
it says during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments.
Because I think that means you can still cycle Fairy Macabre, right? Discard Fairy Macabre because it's a creature.
That's activated ability of a creature, dude.
No, of a creature card, not of a creature. Like creature literally means in play. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong.
Judge.
We'll figure this out. Discord and Twitter are gonna let us know.
Yeah, I want an Italian judge right now. Like,
I don't know if you can make that request unless you actually speak Italian. It's like, oh, do you not speak English? No, I just like Italian judges better. It's like, that's a weird request, but I guess we'll honor it.
Julian is right. Yeah.
We're gonna make that a sound clip.
Are you kidding me? Now I'm gonna sell all of them.
What is so crazy about Julian being right here? Okay.
Google isn't really telling me much. It's just I'm somehow in the competitive EDH Reddit now, but I think that makes sense. I think Julian's right.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Okay, so everyone go buy your full copies of Fairy Macabre.
No, go and get your Grand Abolishers.
Yeah, I don't know about that card.
Yeah.
Even though the flavor text is amazing. But yeah, Callum, what have you been up to, man? How has life been?
It's been good. It's been very busy. So we covered Axia Now event last episode, and then I've had this like month of things going on every single weekend. So obviously 4 seasons come up. We're about to discuss it. This past weekend I played lots of Warhammer. So at the risk of I keep having all these tangents of every episode was a Painter episode before, and then I keep going off about Warhammer. Played a tournament in, where was it? I've already forgotten. Somewhere in the north, a couple of hours north of London. And it was with some good friends. We went into it like just trying to have a good time. It was a team event, which I won't go into the details, but it's by far the best way to play competitive Warhammer. And we went 3-2, which was our complete goal because we have a couple of guys that don't play all the time. And yeah, we achieved our goal. We actually were 3-1 at some point, and the last round was kind of close. So 4-1 is like where the very, very good teams are as well. This was like, it's called the International Team Tournament. We had teams coming over from the Netherlands, Poland, who are arguably one of the best teams in the world. We had Team England in attendance. Like, it's really some of the best players in the world at this event. Very, very high level.
To interrupt you there, how do you become Team England? Is this just like something that you select for yourself, or is it like an actual like national coach?
There's a kind of team who've been together for a long time, and they choose who it is. It's a bit
nepotism.
Exactly. 100. That's the word I was about to look for. Yeah. But like the team are some of the best in the world, and they consistently are. So there are avenues to get into it as well, and every country does it differently, and people have like some committees or whatever. But anyway, the Team England guys are very good. They won it. We actually came second at this event last year, which was kind of crazy. It like really played out of our minds. But next year we'll come back with a vengeance and come first and beat all these official teams and stuff. But yeah, that was a really fun weekend. Warhammer events are absolutely exhausting.
Dude, yeah, you showed us the schedule. Like one match is like literally 3 hours.
Yeah, so basically you're playing for like around 9 hours of Warhammer
I mean,
a day.
War is hard. I get that.
War is hard. Yeah. It's a lot better for me now. I've played so much of it that it's a bit of a second nature. And I told you guys actually last week, I was like, look guys, Monday I might be absolutely exhausted, so I'm just going to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
But I feel fine now. But the last one was like destroying, and the first few events, just you get wrecked. Like it's tough because you're standing up all day as well. So, but
yeah, I mean, nobody ever won a war sitting down, right?
Yes,
except for the guy in the tank.
Yeah. There was a lot of tanks this weekend. One of the top armies is Imperial Guard, and they got a lot of tanks.
Okay. So
really? That's what my friend got.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
A question to all Warhammer fans. So, like, are Warhammer players excited about like Warhammer being a part of Magic right now?
So
or do they barely notice?
They don't. I haven't really spoken to them about it. What I've noticed is everyone, like lots of people that play Warhammer know about Magic, but most of them have just been into Warhammer all their life, and it's such a time-consuming hobby because you do all the collecting and the painting and building, and then the playing and the practicing and playing games takes so much longer that it's even more all-consuming than Magic is. Whereas a lot of Magic players play Warhammer a bit casually to the side. It's rare to have a crossover who's as stupid as me to be so into both. But yeah, more Magic players play Warhammer than Warhammer players play Magic, but I think they all know about it and stuff.
Damn, dude! Imagine like Magic cards being part in Warhammer. Like freaking Thassa's oracles and shit. You know?
Ooh, dude, that would be amazing. I would love to paint,
cool.
Like, I don't know what would be like the most amazing model you could paint.
Oh, Thassa's oracle, easy. No?
Yeah, that would be super. Like this tiny little squid.
There's
I'm thinking about like a Chroma and Grizzlebrand and stuff.
A Grizzlebrand is probably like some
there kind of is
demon.
There's a greater demon called Be'lakor, who's the Dark Prince. Is it the one that looks like Balrog a little bit? No? A little bit maybe as well.
Like the boxer from Street Fighter?
If you just search Belekor.
Isn't that the one that you have? Like you posted in the Discord.
Yeah, he's a big, dark, shadowy demon.
Big mean guy.
Yeah.
But he's fighting for righteousness, right?
Of course. Chaos is the good guys.
Yeah, I forgot.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing. Really, really fun. Shout out to my team. You're all awesome.
Okay.
And now I've got to play this Magic the Gathering game again. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
So I've got like one of these like crazy weeks going lined up. So we're podcasting today. Our band is kicking off like writing a new album as well. So rehearsing tomorrow, practicing Wednesday, and then flying out on Thursday. So you guys are stuck with a vintage player that's not going to get much play. But
yeah, I mean that's why you're going to pick like the easiest deck. Is this even an easy deck?
There's no easy decks apart from Initiative, and I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just cast Tinkertailman every time. It's fine.
I was gonna say like the feeling of being able to cast like Tinker. I could. I'm just like so. You know how would you say that? I miss the times when Tinker was just a really good card because anything you could get sucked. Dude. There was a beauty. There was a beauty in having really broken spells, but the creatures and everything else and Magic, like not even like just Vintage, but especially Vintage sucked. Vintage had this weird appeal of like this post-apocalyptic world, or not even like this dystopian world where we have like all these amazing laser weapons, but then we miss some very basic things that were developed like 100 years ago. You know how in Fallout they didn't. I guess it goes too far, but basically in the Fallout world, it's like super futuristic, but they didn't invent the transistor or something, and that everything follows from there, so they have this really weird future. And Vintage was at that point, right, where we had like all this future technology, but some basic stuff missing, and people played like Sage of Apatia and stuff. And
Well, are you saying that Darkseid Colossus is not good enough for Tinker, or what?
Yeah,
Julian,
I want to say Darkseid Colossus was like already like the +1 at that point. Like before we had that, like what did you really get with Tinker?
well, so I've built a
Drexium processor and shit.
Yeah, it was. It was a tutor rather than like cheating on mana. So I've built a pre-modern deck with Goblin Welder, Tinker, and Mastercore because I just love those cards.
Mindslaver maybe.
Mindslave was a thing as well. We needed Welder and Vintage, yeah. But like I've been playing it and legit, it's like more of a tutor. So there's like you either get Mishra's Helix, Crumbling Sanctuary. Like I've got a Phyrexian Colossus in there. It's terrible. I don't know. But then like Phyrexian Processor as well. Like you're cheating on one man and you're using 2 cards. But I usually got Triskelion actually. I was playing against like creature decks and stuff. So
wait. Can you imagine, right? The beauty of like, we have one of the most crazy it's an accelerator and a tutor, and what do you get? Triskelion.
Hell yeah.
It is
3
so
damage.
It is so bad. I think you kind of want to cast the next Tinker already, you know?
well, I was also playing Goblin Welder, so Triskelion with Welders is pretty sick. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, not if you get Triskelion. Like, if that's the best thing you can get, then I would rather play Lightning Bolts.
Well, I was playing against like elves and crap. Like they all die.
Yeah, you want to play Arc Lightning. You know, that's 3 mana and you get to distribute the damage of Lightning Bolt. I love the card in this.
Yeah, but what if you like Triskelion? Is that every turn?
Yeah, okay, if you were there. Okay, never mind. We're on Vintage Podcast now. You figured it out, Callum. Everybody's gonna get bonus Citadel, but Callum is gonna be there. Hey, you know what? Can't you still play Control Slaver?
Don't tempt me. Don't.
Actually, Callum, you can do the hell you want, because like Julian and I gotta do the heavy lifting, I guess, for that weekend.
Oh God!
And you do whatever the hell you want, okay? So
there's actually some real pressure in like playing the format that we're supposed to be good at, whereas you guys just get to play the formats that are like whatever, dude, all in.
Just to scare you guys a bit more, if you don't believe me, you can go and ask Francis, aka FGC. We used to do like bi-monthly kind of vintage quote unquote events at a pub and stuff, and decks I've played there were Triskaidekaphobia with Punishing Fire to try and control their life total, Surek Dragonclaw, Crush of Tentacles. There's probably a few more dumb things as well. Like,
in which other EDH decks did those guys play?
Oh, Niv Mizzet I played as well, but like not in Oath, just straight up Niv Mizzet.
So Niv Mizzet was your commander, probably, right? Yeah.
I had 2 commanders apparently. Okay. Also, I came first in like a vintage Eternal Weekend for London thing that we called with Vile Smash of the Fierce as well. When Dig Through Time was legal, so you just like Dig Through Time, you take 7, Fire Blast you take 10. Anyway.
That Goblin.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, no,
it
was not a while Eldrazi Smasher.
No.
Reality Smasher. No.
What I'm saying is you guys are in safe hands.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I feel way safer now. Yeah.
As long as Callum, Kyra, I were now around, we're basically gonna go undefeated. We see how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, we're joking about it now, but maybe Callum's really gonna carry the team.
Let's see.
Never feel the same.
Okay.
I'll hold you in my hands.
Awesome.
Julian, what have you been up to?
Well, I, for the very first time in a proper paper tournament, actually cast, or at least I tried to cast Chaos Defiler.
Let's go.
Yeah, I played in the Et Cetera Freising. We got 48 players, I want to say, which is insane turnout.
So
it's also so funny because like I see the signups and everybody like signs up last minute. And the day before it was like 20 players or 22. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a really small one. And then like 48. Amazing time. Always love playing these paper tournaments, etc. So many people who listen to the podcast actually said hello, and also so many painter players. Like I think it was the 3rd most played deck in the end, because for some reason Germans just love fucking 4-color control and it's all over the place. What can you do? But shout out to everybody listening to the podcast. I don't remember all your names, I'm so sorry, but I talked to like 10 or 12 people who said, hey, I listened to the podcast, it's amazing, even though you have Callum on it. But
wow.
No. Callum, you gotta come to Et Cetera and play with us.
I'd love to.
We're gonna do like a meet and greet, and you're gonna make you sign people's cards and stuff. I recently found a picture of me again at GP Paris, where I literally signed an entire elf stack, including the cradles. I feel so sorry.
Oh wow, I'm still in the I think signing is weird because I'm just an idiot that likes Magic the Gathering.
I mean, yeah, that's the first step. It would be weird if you didn't.
Yeah, true.
It's like, I just do it for the fame and the money. Oh, okay.
Only the money. Yeah. There's
Only
loads
the
in it.
okay. Yeah. Fame is just like the middle step. We go straight to the profit. Okay. No, but yeah, I had a great time. I didn't really know which list to play because the list that you recently changed to in the Chaos Defiler list had 2 lightning greaves, and I didn't really get to test it. Like, I played one league and I literally went 0-5, but that was while editing the podcast, and I didn't really like focus at all on it. And I could see the appeal of lightning greaves, but I didn't feel ready for it, so I played a very traditional, quote-unquote, traditional Black Red Reanimator list. And yeah, it did really well. I went 4-2, I made top 8. In the first round, I won against Reanimator because his Axiom actually got my Fury back, which was like really good.
Nice.
Second round, I won against Initiative, even though I guess I still would have won either way. But he got kind of greedy, Swords to Plowshares, the Goblin token, then I untapped. Oh yeah, that was great. So I won the first game, and then the second game, I was really fucking far behind. Like I was doing really badly. The only thing I had going for myself was a Grindstone and a bunch of mana and a Fable, and the Goblin token from the Fable. And he attacked for almost lethal, but before I could declare blockers, he sorted the Goblin token. I would have never sacrificed the Goblin blocked or jump blocked anyway, but he swords to Plowshares that. So then it's my turn. I draw, and my hand is like Land, Fury. And I was like, I can hardcast Fury, I can take out one of his creatures, but it's really not winning over the next 2 turns, even though like next turn I get my Fable token, but then I already have to like jump block. It's probably not working. So I was like, you know what? Let's just like throw both cards in there, and I need to draw, I believe, like Land and Painter Servant. And like looking back, maybe I should have just kept the land, but I didn't.
Nice.
But it worked out.
It's a better story.
Yeah, punt versus punt, I guess. I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be I guess it is, yeah. So I draw 2 cards deep, and the 2 cards are Land and Painter Servant.
Nice.
And I slam it, and yeah, my opponent felt pretty bad about it. But yeah, we talked about it, and yeah.
Yeah, them's the breaks. With Painter, you do that a lot. You just like you have so many like you just need one card to win, and you hope to draw it, and you play to your outs there.
Yeah, pretty much. It felt really good, and yeah, I got to take the match that way.
Nice.
In the next round, I lost to Cephalo Breakfast. Dude, I hate that deck so much. No, actually, I love the deck. Seriously, I really love the deck.
Was it the blue-red version?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. The opponent was actually quite competent at what they were doing. I think they got second place in the end or something.
Nice.
Lost a really close game 3. What happened afterwards? Oh yeah, afterwards I played against 4-color control, which felt really weird because I was struggling against 4-color control quite a lot. But I did not bring in Magus of the Moon, because that actually felt like I like it. I still like it against like these 5-color control decks, even though I'm not sure. But against 4-color control, I just like I did my thing, and I don't know, just like I think the first game I assembled a combo and I went for it, and he conceded. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, that has never happened before. Like usually they have like everything, everything in the kitchen sink. And second game, I just got down a beatdown because blasts are really good, man. Have you tried that against Stress Down? Holy shit, that's good.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't think of that actually. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, neat new interaction, right?
Countering blue spells with Pyroblast. You heard it here first.
Yeah. It's not only there to kill your like Coralhelm commander or something. Yeah. Then I ended up losing to Initiative. Oh yeah, that felt kind of like a bad beat. I was actually playing 2 copies of Virtuous Ruin in the sideboard. I literally couldn't find the black mana. The black mana would have helped me quite a lot, even though I guess my black mana was quite limited. I only had like 2 fetch lands and 2 bad lands, because he also had a Null Rod in play. So I guess I wasn't even drawing to all that many outs. So yeah, I lost in the third game. And last round I had so much fun. I played against Daniel Rehman, and Daniel and I was going to say Daniel is famous. Actually, he's not famous. He's just like famous between him and me for being, I want to say by now, 0-11 against me in Legacy. But he managed to beat me in Modern once. And he was playing, Daniel, if you're listening, I don't know if that's supposed to be a deck. Like, I know it's a deck, but, and I guess it was like a bad matchup, but it was Atraxa control with like Mana Dork's Natural Order, but also like not only Natural Order for value, but also show and tell in there. It was more like a.
This is no
like
show. This is what I've been telling you about, right?
Yeah, and it has like Omniscience, and
Yeah.
the idea is you
like-
put in Omniscience, and then you
kinda
chain
like a
Atraxas.
This is good.
Actually,
This deck
kinda
is
like
good.
a real deck.
This deck is
I
good.
don't think that deck is good. It felt like, honestly, it felt bad.
What is it? Is it bad against the All Blasts deck?
Yeah, against the All Blast
Yeah,
decks and also
interesting.
the Chaos Defiler deck.
Yeah. No, like this is Painter's just good against that. Like all it's doing. The deck is weird because it looks insane on paper, and it plays a
does
bit
it?
worse. I don't know. I've played a few leagues now, and they've all been like 4-1s and a couple of 3-2s. I think it's pretty good, but it's
Already,
Yeah.
okay. But the issue I had with it, even if you're not playing like Chaos Defiler, of course, which was the most insane thing you could have against that, you just you put something in, has a triggered ability, and you shoot the Omniscience. They literally can't do anything because they don't even get to draw their cards of Atraxa first, and they also don't have the instant speed kill, and they also don't have like the other decks that sometimes show and tell in sneak attack and then activate it twice, and
Yeah.
and
I
even
mean-
if you put something in.
to be fair, like not that many decks can just kill the Omniscience when it comes in.
Is that so?
Like there's Pyroblast and Force of Vigor, I guess. I mean, then there's some like ETBs and stuff, but like you don't always do that. Like when I've been playing it, you
I touched the Spirit Realm also of the Eldrazi deck.
kind of. I don't know, but like Atraxa is also just very good against all these creature decks
But
as well.
I'm not saying that even though that part was not very good against me, I'm not even saying that part is bad. I just felt like the if you approach it that way, then I think it's better if you fully commit to it. And I say that having played against it once, and obviously that makes me an expert, right? It just felt like the control part of it with like Icewind Codals and Uro did not feel good enough because the rest of the deck didn't really support that. And
I
thought
didn't
those
like. I didn't
were
like Uro. Maybe it's more mid-range than what I've played.
It was very mid-range. Yeah, it felt. I mean, as mid-range as you can get with like a deck with natural orders and show and tells and Omniscience and Atraxa and Crystal Brand and what have you. Actually, I think there wasn't even. I think there was an Emrakul. I think that was the idea. You go into like Atraxa into Atraxa into Crystal into Emrakul, and then you win.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and that's also why I couldn't mill him out. But I think I just got there on the beatdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, in that matchup, holy shit, did I get to do some obscene things with like Chaos Defiler. During most of the tournament, it didn't really do all that much, I want to say, but in the end, ooh.
It's one of those things where like sometimes I've had a few games where you just have like Welder into Engineer and turn 2 Defiler and that's the game. Some games it doesn't really come up too much, but like some games it kind of goes off and it sounds like it did here. Like you remember that Four Seasons thing where you videoed as well of me just killing all the things against 4-color control. When Defiler goes off late game with some goblins in play, just kills everything, and like you get into a board state where opponent just cannot do anything. Like as long as you don't completely forget to activate goblins for the rest of the game, they're just locked out basically.
And speaking of video, by the way, I also released a video, basically like a vlog, about our last experience at the Four Seasons. It's like a 3 or 4 minute video on YouTube. I'm gonna link in the show notes. Otherwise, just I guess what do you need to look for on YouTube? Like Everyday Journal, Travel Vlog, Four Seasons, Bologna. You're gonna find it. Hopefully, if the algorithm is good. Did you guys watch it?
Yep,
Dude,
I watched it yesterday. It's great.
I can't believe you put my dream on it.
I had no idea how to introduce it, and while I was watching like all the footage that I took, I was like, you know what, this is the perfect opening. This is like the cold opening, like go straight into Kai's stream, and then we'll start from there.
I like that you didn't say it was a dream. Kai's just weird.
Like,
Well, like Julian cut that part out. You
No,
know? Like,
really?
I specifically said it sometime.
Julian's
somewhere.
a bastard. He got you.
You know, and, like it looks like that these are my regular thoughts. You know, like
are they not?
as if
I don't remember any comments about a dream.
Neither
I mean,
do I.
they're close, but
I just love the idea of you winning a coupon for like all you can eat salad for the rest of your life in Italy.
Oh man, that felt so good.
Dude, I would move there. Cool. Yeah. So in the end, I got I think I got the best tiebreakers of the 4 and 2. So I made top 8s. This time we played out the top 8, but I didn't need to play because the thing on the line, like we made prizes after Swiss, and then the thing on the line was the qualification for the I recently called it like the South German Invitational. It's like the Et Cetera Invitational that I won in January, which is also why I'm qualified for it, so I didn't need to play top 8. But now you can qualify at like so many different places. You can qualify at the Munich tournament, at the Freising tournament, at the Rosenheim tournament, at the I think Tübingen tournament. That's just like so many At Nuremberg as well. So yeah, you can basically qualify at every place except for Aalen, apparently. Which
Awesome.
is the only remaining big tournament series in South that doesn't qualify you for it. But yeah, we've worked it out, I guess. And
Man, I quickly want to mention like how much I missed that etc. tournament. I've only been there like once. It was last summer. It was also like the hottest day in 2022. I feel. But it was a great tournament experience, like especially because there wasn't like this restaurant which also offered food afterwards, and
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. It's also so funny when you think about it. Like Freising is a 50K suburb of Munich, which is like 1.4 million. And literally the day before Et Cetera, which had 48 players, Munich had its monthly tournament and had like, I think 16 players.
Oh, wow.
No, let's just like all go to the suburb because it's so much better, except and not go to Munich. So yeah. I want to say it makes you proud, even though I'm not really all that involved with organizing and running it. But it's still, it feels good. Feels very good.
Mm. It's really cool being involved with this kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, winner, drum roll, Johannes Gutbrot came back from the dead. I think you guys both know him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like an old gem. I haven't met him in probably like eight or 9 years at this point. But
this long? Oh my
God,
like
I think like so when I moved to Japan, like I think I just never got a chance to meet him. Like there were a couple of GPs in Europe and obviously also in Japan and so on, but I feel like he had like a little bit of like a legacy break in between, I think, and I just didn't get to meet him. But you know,
yeah, he's back. He moved to Munich, and we talk about the deck that he played later on in the season, in the episode, because that was quite something. That was not something I expected to see in Legacy right now. But yeah,
it's definitely something we can go to time with.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like last time I saw him he was on Countertop Miracles with Census running top. So
yeah, that deck is slightly faster, but we will see. I didn't see him go to time all that much in this tournament.
Fair enough.
Awesome. So with that out of the way, guys, what we want to do tonight or tomorrow or wherever you're listening to this is give us a short overview of what Legacy actually looks like right before as we go into 4 seasons. To give you guys and also us some kind of idea what we're working with, what's good, what's bad, what does Callum play, and why don't we start? Actually, you know what? We got this initial question which touches on what else you can play from ET coming from our Discord. Where are the traditional budget decks? Burn, Death and Taxes, 8-cast, Rainbow Depth, etc. positioned in the new metagame? Are any of them viable versus the big two? I had no idea that 8-cast was supposed to be like a budget deck, is it?
It's got no reserve list cards.
Yeah, they got
just like Rainbow Depth, right?
Has what?
Rainbow Depth also doesn't have like
Rainbow Depth
also part of its claim to fame. Yeah, and I guess Burn also doesn't.
Yeah,
maybe Burn is like the most obscure reserve list card or something that nobody ever heard of.
But I can give my opinion on these decks quickly and then pass it over. Burn, I think, has been terrible for years. I'm sorry, Burn players. I know, like, whenever the question comes up in Reddit, it's like, oh, it's a very hard deck to play, and you need to know the meta, and you need to play it well, and it's just really bad. Sorry, but like the combo decks are faster than ever. Like there's Atraxas and Grizzlebrands in your face now. Uro is just bonkers against it. Like, yeah, you can get Sulfuric Vortex in play and stuff, but I think Burn is just way power creeped out, and there's just lifelink and stuff and incidental life gain everywhere.
Sorry, people say you need to know the meta to play Burn.
I don't know. Like whenever you see like someone saying, "What do you think of Burn?" There's always
that's pushing it.
look. You don't have to tell me. I agree, but Burn is not good. But I think the other ones are good. D&T, I don't know. Like XJ5'd with it yesterday, so I'm gonna say it's okay.
Return of the King.
D&T is not great at the moment, but I think it really comes and goes in the metagame. I think it really struggles against Initiative, and it really struggles against Painter. And Cephalo Breakfast, I don't really know. And Delver's probably slightly good against Delver, so it's always there. But I think D&T will absolutely have its time again, where it's way better in the metagame. So that's a fine deck to pick up, but it's just not great right now, I think. 8-cast, I think, is genuinely a top deck in the metagame. It's like maybe not top tier 1 or whatever, but it can absolutely win tournaments. And as an offshoot of that, there is this mono blue Painter deck, which is basically 8-cast with Painter and Grindstones in. That is incredibly good as well. It's been doing really well recently.
That's been played by Dian Solver, right? Dian Solver is insane. He won like 3 challenges and was run up in the 4th one in like the span of 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like absolutely insane.
So yeah, 8-cast / blue Painter is very, very good. And Rainbow Depths, this is a good deck as well. people expected, like maybe initiative with Solitudes and Caracas here and there and swords and plowshares everywhere. Slightly heard it, but I know Cyrus Bales from the UK, he came top 4 at the last Axion event. He was playing like more traditional black-green, but he showed the depth is not like an archetype that's gone away. I think it's kind of underplayed, and maybe it's not completely favorable in the meta at the moment. Again, with like Solitude being pretty popular, but it's totally respectable deck as well. So out of all those, Burn is the only bad one, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I probably don't want to play Rainbow Depth against the Eldrazi deck, because there's just like the initiative deck, because there's so many ways they can fight you with, like, between cycling, even like Spirit Realm, or what else do you have?
Yeah, but like these depth decks are way more resilient to this kind of stuff than we ever give credit, I think. Like, they have, if it's Rainbow, there's Stifles in there, there's Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Crop Rotation, or Not of This World, Crop Rotation for Step. Like, there's a ton of...
Sounds like it gets kicked in the balls by, like, Chalice 1.
Yeah, potentially. But it's also just very fast and can just go, like, Urborg into Hexmage with depths. I don't know.
I mean, what I agree with is, if you have a proactive game plan, you can only ever be so bad in Legacy.
I agree with that.
If you're like a good, punishing, proactive game plan, that's also why I usually like hate on control decks and stuff, and think they're like rather not. Like, I mean, we say unplayable. What I mean by that is like not very good. But if you have like an aggressive, proactive game plan, there's a lower limit to how bad you can really be, and I think Rainbow Depth certainly playable. 8-cast, as you mentioned, especially 8-cast Painter, insanely good. DNT coming back up again, and Burn is Burn.
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, at some point.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're just gonna like make a few. I kind of sound like one of them, but like maybe you should just add in some cards that kind of push those decks a little further. Like I'm not here to say that Burn is a good deck by any means, but what I can see is that both Mono White Initiative and Blue Delver are kind of soft to a card like Meekstone, for example. Like I think I've seen what's it called?
Meekstone, really? Like, White Plume Adventurer, hello?
That's power 3. So it can't. It
no, it untaps things in your upkeep.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Okay, well, never mind. Burn is just bad, and Death and Taxes. I guess you can. It's a mono white definition of Death and Taxes is basically there's plains and mono white creatures. So why don't you just jam in a few initiative dudes in that deck as well, and make it like Yorion initiative.
Why didn't you play White Plume in Breakfast? You're already in white.
Dude, I really should.
Mm-hmm. Genius.
Dude, I only got like 4 days.
It sounds at least a little bit better than trying to make Expressive Iteration work in the deck.
Have you ever viled in White Plume Adventurer?
Not yet.
No,
that is a crime. You should not be allowed to do that. That sounds...
Yeah, we talked about this at the last 4 seasons, right? If you put Splinter Twin on White Plume Adventurer, and you activate it like in your own end step, and then like you get 2 triggers in the opponent's end step, and then you make more copies, and you almost go through the entire dungeon in a single activation.
Yeah.
Giga brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from the cardsmith Niklas Holtmann.
Oh god.
I think we put that out there, and then someone came up with like a way simpler way of doing it. Oh, it was just like Ephemerate or whatever. Yeah.
I'd be offended if they didn't.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's for that. What does it say here? Kai, Burn plus Meekstone. Yeah, our show notes are trash, guys.
Meekstone is always in my maybe pile of like Painter possibilities, because obviously you can grab it off Saga, so it's a really legit card sometimes, but the untapping of the White Plume kills it. Otherwise, it would 100% be in my main deck.
Yeah, you know what I actually played? I played Ensnaring Bridge in the sideboard, and it actually worked really well. It also won me the match against Reanimator, at least a game. I think I'm probably going to be playing a copy of Ensnaring Bridge in the sideboard.
That's fair. I was like super off it for ages before Initiative was a thing and stuff. And then Initiative came, and I've just got so used to not playing with it, but I could see it being okay.
Yeah. We will see.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, what does Legacy look like altogether before 4 seasons? Our show notes say something about us that Kai doesn't want to play any Shocklands. I think we can help you with that. You want to submit your deck list? You want to run it by us first?
Full Watery Grave, 1 Underground Sea.
Can I pay someone that
to verify your deck list?
Yeah, no, to write the deck list for me.
Oh, you're that lazy?
So I can't fuck it up, again.
Okay, I've got a story from Axion to make you feel better. Did I tell it in the last episode though? The Grindstone one?
Oh, no. You told it on the Discord,
Yep.
but you didn't tell it on the podcast. So maybe
Okay.
actually you should go into that because that's one of your biggest puns of the season.
I'm glad I did it. It was a really funny story. But on the Sunday at Axion, we had teams. So I was playing Legacy, and I played like black-red version with Unearths and stuff, Painter. But the night before we went out and we drank quite a lot, and I kind of like fumbled through some cards and got some bits and pieces together for the deck the next day, thinking like, right, I'm really smart. I'm going to get stuff ready for now. And I can just do the rest in the morning. So obviously at some point there, I must have taken one of the 2 grindstones out of the pile of playables. And then the morning after, I forgot I did that. So I was like, oh, I know I play 2 grindstones usually, so I'm going to take 1 grindstone out of my pile of playables, and here's my deck. So then I wrote down the deck list from the stack of cards in front of me. What I'd managed to do was not put any grindstones in my deck or write any grindstones on my deck list. So
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I assume there's a grindstone in my deck. Round 1, I won just with beats. Round 2, I lost to Blue Red Delver, and the combo never came up. And the guy was like, oh, I haven't played against Painter in a while. Do you mind if I just see the cards and how the combo works? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I go through my deck. There's no grindstone. Go through it again. What have I done? Shit. I go to a judge and say, like, look, I think I've been playing with an illegal deck. I must have written grindstone on my deck list, but I can't find it in my 60-card deck or in my 15-card sideboard. So I'm not sure what I've done. Can I see the deck list? We go over, they look through it, and like, nah, mate, you're an idiot. You've not submitted a grindstone.
I love like that would be the response from like a British judge. Nah, mate, you're an idiot.
They didn't technically say that, but paraphrasing.
It's also like
I'm working out what's in their
part
head.
of like the policy guideline. Player being an idiot. Okay, this and this infraction.
So shout out to Nick and Winter if they listen to this, who was super
The judge you
understanding.
bribes to still get your grindstone in.
The 2 judges who made this decision, they were like, look, you're not even playing Pyroblast main deck, so Painters are literally a 2-mana 1/3. That's not quite Legacy power level. You clearly intended to have a grindstone in the deck. So they offered to let me put a grindstone, change the deck list, put a grindstone in, and take a game loss for the next match.
That sounds like strategic advice to me. They're like, you know what, this card is so bad. Maybe somebody told this guy that he just put in this card grindstone, and they're like, this is so obviously better than anything you're doing. You get to change your deck.
Yeah, I didn't think grindstone. They suggested it, but
yeah.
so I took the game loss and did manage to win the next match. But Kai, just to make you feel better, I think this is worse than your lands thing.
Dude, I imagine like if I had a judge just like around the house where I could have like sent him the Expressive Iteration Cephalid Abomination and be like, and the judge goes like, dude, this card I would absolutely not play in that.
Let me take your deck apart. We're gonna make like this 10 changes to your deck list, and now you play the rest of the tournament. Sounds good. You actually got really lucky that your opponent was asking to see those cards, because eventually you would have probably gotten to a point where you were trying to go for the win, and then you would.
Oh, in game, yeah.
Oh yeah. So
I guess it doesn't really matter because you still got the game loss, but yeah.
I only activated the grindstone once the whole tournament, but it was a game that I wouldn't win otherwise.
Okay, that's a big deal then.
But then I got the game loss. The game loss ended up being against Pete Ward, who's like Fanoop of Magic Online, who's really, really good. But he usually plays like kind of Delvery decks, so I was terrified that I'd be like a game down against Delver. But he was on 4 color control, so it was okay.
Dude, it's kind of like not having a Tendrils of Agony in your Storm deck. Like if your Saga pops off and you're like, yeah, well, I'm gonna activate. I have 3 mana here. I'm just gonna activate Grindstone. The opponent like scoops it up.
Yes, I
heck yeah. And there's never been a Grindstone in the deck. I
have to say, it crossed my mind if I can kind of. Whatever the LSV story was, I was going to ask a judge like what I'm allowed or not allowed to say, and I think I probably can't be like activate the grindstone I search for, but I just thought I'm not going to be that kind of guy. I was gonna if it's not in the deck, I'm just gonna play my Painters out early and try and hope that they're removal magnets. I don't know.
For me the reverse thing happened where my opponents were actually scooping before I even had the combo. Because I didn't have 3 mana to activate the grindstone, but they scooped to me on their turn as I was about to draw for my turn.
Wow.
And actually, I ended up drawing the land, so it didn't really matter. But I was like,
oh no, like
you should have waited. Like,
I've had plenty of times where like you don't have the 3rd mana. Definitely make them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like super, super shady, and you should not be doing this. But like, what if you go like pop off the Saga and you say like, okay, I'm gonna get stone. And then,
come on. Oh,
and then the only thing you have in your deck is like
it's
like a Brainstone or something, Like,
you know what? Actually, I'm gonna Google whether there's a card literally called Stone.
Nah,
or
dude,
something.
I don't think there is.
No. Oh, Wizard has been missing out. They should literally just have a card named Stone. That would be amazing. Like, what would it do? Like 2 mana, and when it comes into play, you gain two.
Like, why do you think about
life.
2 mana for a card that's called Stone, dude? That's probably like 0 mana at least. Like, that's max.
I don't know. Stone is like pretty solid.
1 mana indestructible.
Like, honestly, like, yeah, I was gonna say indestructible. Like, Stone to me, like, no, Rock. Okay, Rock would be more. Like, Stone is 2 mana, 3 indestructible. And then we need a mechanic where it can only fall down. Oh, it can't gain flying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like if
you can sacrifice it to destroy target attacking creature with flying with toughness 2 or less. It's basically you throw it at some kind of pigeon and then it comes down.
No, it kind of melts with twin shot sniper. You know, it gets like an additional shot or something. Okay, I guess it's kind of going like too deep, I think, at this point.
Well, that's Wall of Stone. I guess that's the closest we got. 8 for 3 mana. Yeah, that's a bargain. Anyway, so guys, actually, you know what? Right before we go into it, Kai, you are actually going to be an exhibitor at the next 4 seasons, right?
Yeah, I got this opportunity to have my for the first time a very small, tiny, but lovely Savatarix booth at the event. And I'll be selling, construct, treasure, insect, and spirit tokens at this small little booth. So, everyone who wants to stop by, please say hi, and I'll be there.
So how does it work? Because you're going to be playing most of the time, right?
Yeah, I don't know either how it's going to work. It's going to be it's an Italian event. Italians are pretty Italian, so we're gonna figure it out. You know, it's gonna.
You're gonna figure it out on the fly. Wing it.
I'm gonna play Magic at the booth, maybe.
Oh, you pay extra. Everybody has to come to your booth, like you can do at GPs and stuff. Yeah.
That's actually quite convenient.
If I was the Italian guy, actually that would be super annoying for the opponents. So unless you have like a lot of space. Okay. We will see.
We will see. But I will there, and I'm super excited. Yeah.
Okay. So now finally, after an hour, guys, we're coming to what does the metagame look like? Okay, Blue Red Diver, White Stumpy, most played decks. Awesome. Wrap it up. See you there. No, seriously. I mean, that's pretty much the
But it's pretty much it, though.
Yeah, we have the numbers from the Legacy Data Collection project. Shoutouts to those guys. And since the beginning of the year, and this is an insane margin, the 2 most, well, when we say played, we mean posted decks on like, challenges and Firehouse and everything. So it's somewhat like the winners metagame, but even though I guess Wizards also posts deck lists up to like top 32 or something, so it's not always winners. But it paints a reasonable picture of what Magic looks like on Magic Online, at least. And that is, we have Blue Red Diver and White Stompy sitting at about 250 each. Like one of them is slightly over, one of them is slightly under, so let's call it 250. And then the third most played deck is Reanimator at less than 100, at like 92 finishes. Then we got Painter at 69, 4-color Uro Control 61, Elves 58, Cephalo Breakfast 44, 8-cast 34, Death Shadow 30, Sneak and Show 25, Other Spell Combo 24, and then we have Grixis Delver on the rise at 21. Grixis Delver has been something that's only really popping up recently, so I would expect it to get a lot more top 8s in the weeks and months to come, unless some new technology develops. But yeah,
I'm gonna say that Grixis Delver is Blue Red Delver as well. It's playing 2 Cs for like snuff outs, which is smart. I think it's really good.
Like it's not even casting a real black spell. You know?
Like maybe
you have like any sideboard cards.
They could have a couple of sideboard cards, but it's not. I think you can just put it in Blue Red Delver as well.
Yeah, I guess if you put it in Blue Delver, that makes the lead even further. Then it's like 274. Yeah, against White Stompy at 246. I mean, traditionally, it doesn't look that distorted in paper, just because, paper is a lot less fluid than Magic Online. Mm-hmm. But this is where we are now. And it rarely happens that we have 2 decks that far apart, right, from the rest of the metagame.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people mentioned it already, but like, those 2 decks, they also kind of support each other because they cover each other's bad matchups. And like you can clearly see how low the numbers are for, let's say, a deck like 4-color control Uro, which is, it is kind of like a good deck, a decent deck versus Delver, but it just struggles so much versus White Stompy. And then there are other decks that are like good against White Stompy, like Cephalic Breakfast, but Cephalic Breakfast again has, at least from my experience, has a terrible Blue Delver matchup. I'm actually kind of frustrated, and so much that I like consider the cards like Triumph of St. Catherine mainboard and like other
This
stuff,
is the Doomsday syndrome. Like, Doomsday is so good against everything except for Java, and then they try to like put in all these weird cards, and now you're on the same deck again. That is the same issue and the same quote unquote solution.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, Kai?
Dude, that's
You know,
probably
but
like
you have like a toxic relationship with Blue-Red Java.
yeah. Also, like, did I ever mention that my first legacy deck was Canadian Threshold with like
You
Nimble
did.
Delver? Oh my goodness! And now I feel like a freaking traitor, man.
That's why, that's why to me, you are still you're the t-shirt, right? Rockstar. You are still like the rockstar to me, the Java guy. Before you became anything else, like you went into A&T and everything, like Kai Thiele back then to me was like the guy who plays, well, not Werebear, but like Tarmogoyfs and Nimble Mungus and stuff.
Were you like a 3 Winter Orb kind of guy as well?
Dude, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
knew
love
it.
Winter Orb.
I knew it.
I don't like Delver, but I like Winter Orb.
Yeah.
Except in Commander.
So you
because
played
that sucks,
like
but-
4 Stifle, 3 Spell Pierce, 3 Winter Orb. You
Heck
sided
yeah.
out your
Heck yeah.
Tarmogoyfs all the time.
Dude, man,
Yeah.
you know, this is like a story from the
2
past,
spell
but
snares.
Winter Orb was the tech versus Sensei's demanding top
Oh, yeah.
back in the day. Holy shit, was that good.
I remember
Like-
I was a Dirty Miracles player back then, and you would like side in 3 Wear Tears blind against Rug Delver. It was what you had to do.
Like, right, I mean, and the Delver player sides out all creatures that don't have Shroud.
Yeah, you
So,
side
like,
out
you
Goyfs
are-
and
you- dude,
Delvers.
you're a Nimble Mongoose control.
Yeah.
Like, how sick is that?
It was like
That
it was like 4 Mongoose, 2 or 3 True Name.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you cut the hooting mandrills.
Oh yeah.
And the Delvers, you know, like have a like. Why are we talking about like legacy like 5 years ago? When we
was awesome.
we about
Actually,
to
was
like.
it?
Yeah, well, it wasn't bad.
It's
Yeah.
making me weirdly
Anyway.
nostalgic. I used to play against Jonathan Alexander online like all the time, and he would usually beat me with that. But then I adapted and just played some Blood Moons and just Blood Mooned him all the time.
Oh.
So that was the anti
ah.
extra back.
What was his name? Like John XL or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
John
guys have
John
no
XL.
idea how often I still get messages from people trying to reach him because he's basically vanished from the internet.
Oh yeah, like
But-
dude, I had a Skype session with him last year. Like he's doing alright. He just quit Magic. He's now a dad,
Nice.
and you know, like but he told me that he's more interested in Pokemon or something like that.
Interesting. I like the inflection in your voice when you say the name of the game. Pokemon.
Pokemon, like this, you know, this new thing.
yeah. Tell us about it. You know, that we should have Pokemon Warhammer or something. But yeah,
Anyway,
Back to the matter at hand.
Yeah, we not only have the numbers of what are the most played decks or like the most well performing decks, we also have literally their win percentages in the legacy data collection
I want
report.
to make a very quick point on the just the numbers of players. So yeah, Blue Red Delver and White Stompy is far ahead. Reanimator is the 3rd highest. I don't think it's a good reflection of how good the deck is or anything. It's just very popular online. It is pretty good at spiking kind of like the weekend challenges and stuff. I don't think it's bad. I think a lot of people fall into this trap of saying, oh, it's a bad deck, or they see it do well and have these high numbers and oh, it's really good. I think it's just a very solid deck and you need to respect, and it's how good it is going to really go in and out of like how respected it is. And you know, with Cephalid Breakfast being a good deck at the moment, maybe we're seeing more Graveyard Hate, and it kind of goes in and out and stuff. But I wouldn't class it as a top 3 deck, even though it's like the 3rd most played deck here, even with results. I think basically we're seeing Blue Red Delver and White Stumpy out front, and then we have Painter and Breakfast weirdly in these, like, I would never ever expect to say this, but like top 5 decks.
Yeah.
And then I think we have,
I mean, I want to say like Painter and Breakfast, they basically compete for like the 3rd spot, right? I would go as far as saying that.
like you're seeing 1 or 2 in like most top 8s now. 4-color Uro Control and Elves and 8-cast / Blue Painter and then Death Shadow as well. I think they're all up there as well. So it's after the first 2, it's pretty cool, diverse format, I think.
How about we just like ban the first 2 and then we see what happens from there? Like literally, I hate custom formats. Like they come and go and they never do anything except for pre-modern. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
If you're not playing Blue Red Delver or White Stompy, I think there's a wide variety of viable decks to choose from, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I say anyway, back to win rates. What do you know?
Yeah, back to win rates. So we're gonna link that in the show notes as well because it's kind of hard to visualize. But if you know what confidence intervals mean, that basically it makes it more confident. Try to explain the word without using the word. Okay, Julian, you failed. So the narrower the confidence interval is, the more likely we have good information about the actual win rate, and they have a really good visualization for that. So we're going to link that in the show notes. But generally speaking, without going into like too crazy details, the decks that are doing the best basically are, what do we have here? Cephalid Breakfast is doing most well together with Grixis Delver, even though Grixis Delver, of course, has a super large confidence interval because there's not too many numbers in it. Of the decks that we know a lot about, surprise, surprise, Blue Red Delver is doing really well, and the data seems also like rather conclusive that it is a good deck. Hey, thank you for tuning into the podcast. What I don't want to mention is that apparently Euro Control is also doing well because fuck 4-color, it's just like the most boring thing ever created. It's even worse than Miracles, but what can you do?
Can I sell you on Lightning Greaves? When you get to Lightning Greaves, Megas of the Moon against them. Okay, fine. I thought you would go, ooh, but fine, carry on.
No, I go, the nuances, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly, like when I played with Lightning Greaves, I could certainly feel the appeal. It's just like sometimes it was too much air. And I mean, I only played a single league and I didn't really focus all that well. But I can see the appeal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's look at it from the other side. Of all the stuff that we've seen, what is not doing well? Other spell combo. I mean, whenever you have other, it usually means like not very good, because if it was very good, it would establish itself. I guess there's good, like I don't hate where the Epic Storm is. I don't hate like the Epic Gamble, but I guess they also go under other spell combo. They are not, like, that whole category is not doing very well, but also like low confidence interval, and it's probably also going to get dragged down by a bunch of stuff where they just like
low confidence interval. I think both those decks are good. I think the Epic Storm is very good at the moment. Honestly, it's a really strong deck.
I agree.
So it's like we're looking at this and it's what, like, it says it's 40% win rate, but I think the deck is way better than that. So it's a good lesson in not trusting the data as much as it is good to see.
Yeah. So anything else below average, like Elves of the like actual decks was one of the lowest. Sneak and Show also like pretty low, even though JPA, hey, hero of Sneak and Show, he just won the Legacy Showcase Challenge, I want to say.
Okay, congrats.
So whenever he does well, like people jump on the train. They're like, oh, Sneak and Show is back on the menu, boys.
Congrats, Jonathan, but
those numbers.
I hate that you're bringing Sneak and Show back every time.
But I like how he builds his lists. He's like almost like the no-nonsense guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He just like puts in like all the fast mana that he can get, like the dazes. I guess he had misdirections, but I'm not going to count that as nonsense.
There's two like kind of ways he does it. When Delver's good, you see dazes. When Delver's not good, then it's Fluster Storms and Spell Pierces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Smart.
Yeah.
I like it. And also Delver, no, actually Painter is also slightly below average, but having played Painter recently on Magic Online, do people hate us? Like literally everybody plays like Gaia's Blessing or Emrakul in the sideboard.
I faced it a bunch now, and yeah, the people are out to get it, and it's just a very easy deck to hate out because you can play one sideboard slot, and it really radically changes the matchup. So it's a weakness in Painter that we've just not ever encountered because the deck's not been this good. So,
put to the test with regards to that, right?
So
like, you put one, let's say Emrakul or any kind of other Eldrazi that you can maybe even cast in your sideboard, and just the confidence that you can tap out and not be killed in response, that allows you for so many more plays that otherwise might not be possible or advisable.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and
we're seeing that. I wouldn't be surprised if Painter carries on trending a bit below 50%, to be honest.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. Even though I love the deck and it feels really good, but I just like hope people don't do that in paper. Come on, guys, be nice. Like, sus.
I think, I think you can often suss out how, like in paper, when I played against a few people, I think you can somewhat suss out if they have it or not. Like you can tell.
Can you?
Well, like you can just tell.
Jedi Master, tell us about it.
Well, how good and confident they are at playing the game. Ultimately, I think. There's not every deck is playing like this sideboard slot, but I've faced it. I haven't faced it from Delver, but I have faced.
I faced it from White Eldrazi, White Initiative.
Yeah, so what I expect it from is Elves and Initiative mostly. Not much else really. So
I guess combo decks wouldn't really do it. Combo decks just like bank on being faster and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've also hit it against like Hammer and some other random stuff like that. Decks that are fairly weak to the combo already, where they think it's worth the slot because the Painter matchup's bad. So I think you can make educated guesses and play around that to an extent.
Yeah, I guess the kind of deck that likes to do that kind of stuff is decks that wanna tap out on the main phase.
Yeah.
That are also not like turn 2 or turn 1 or 2 combo decks or
Yeah.
something.
Like if I play against Cephalo Breakfast and they have an Emrakul, well, okay, they can't do that because they're trying to mill themselves. Bad example.
I mean, technically they could still do it if they hit we enter 4 horseman territory at that point.
Okay, I found the deck with the absolute worst example, but anyway, you know what I mean. Faster combo deck as well.
Actually, why aren't we playing one the sideboard? Like in the mirror, that's such a huge upside. Like you put Painter into play, they grindstone you. You're like, I don't care, untap, kill you.
I very rarely win with the combo in the mirror, I think.
And then they have the Emrakul as well, and you're like, what the fuck are we both doing here?
Well, yeah, the mirror I think is won most of the time with combat damage. So
yeah, it is. It very much is.
Yeah.
Unless like there's sometimes these games when you play against somebody who's playing the mirror for the first time, and they go like Painter go, and you're like, okay, I guess I take it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any other like big conclusions to draw from here? I mean, generally speaking, even though that win rates by now cover 2 months, there's really only so much you can really say about it because Legacy still very much is heavily influenced by matchups and sideboards, right? And if you play like a middle of the road deck that's decent against a lot of things, then the way you construct your sideboard is gonna have such a huge impact on how your win rate against those decks is going to be and whether you're going to face those decks. And I mean, that's what I usually try to do in meta games anyway, right? I pick like these 4 or 5 decks that I want to be really good against, and for the rest, I still have my proactive game plan. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And like we said, the Epic Storm, the Epic Gambler, something. I think those are very good choices right now.
I agree.
Maybe even Belcher. Like I was thinking about it on the way home from work today. What I recommended when like Eldrazi Winter happened in Legacy, and I felt like, you know what, if we just like go under all of that shit and we belcher them out, then you still get to hit White Stompy. I guess with Painter we are also somewhat soft against it unless we have let's say Mindbreak Trap. And then Delver, I guess Delver is favored against Belcher. Unless like they go for like an Empty the Warrens line.
I think for combo decks in general, I think it's good if the combo itself is not weak to Power Blast effects these days because like I think Power Blast might be the 3rd most played counter spell in like last like 1 or 2 years, I think.
Maybe even the 2nd most played. Maybe it's more than Days. I don't know.
Oh, might be. Yeah, like not like even those Delver decks, like they play like not the full set of days. Like sometimes they go like 2 or 3 days just because they want to chain as many.
Yeah, and then like all the control decks
possible.
and Painter, they also have like blasts and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if like the 2 kind of blasts are more prevalent than Days. Who knows? But yeah, you make a good point, right? If you play a combo deck, like a heavily dedicated combo deck, don't rely too much on blue. I guess that's the case against. I wanted to say the Epic Gamble, even though like the Epic Gamble always puts the opponent in that weird spot where they're like, do I really want to keep my Red Blast for Echo of Eons, or do I side them out, or even like bringing them in the first place? And I guess that's gonna be determined by whether you have something to side out in the first place. Which you would think is your creature removal, but then again, they have what's the girl called that gives you extra mana for all your spells? You want creature removal for her? Dude, it's just like I hate sideboarding against the Epic Gamble. It's so annoying.
Buggy. Yeah.
Bergie, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I leave in Furies as Painter, which like feels awkward.
Oh, even Furies. So if they go for like pass the turn and you take it out.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a way to at least to do something when they're sitting on their, what are they called, defense grids, which can also be like quite annoying.
Yeah, basically, and like Fury versus Bolt, Fury is just free, so yeah. Interesting stuff, but yeah, you got to kill.
Also
him.
interesting, by the way. We don't have Doomsday anywhere in here, and it looks like Kai is also not going to be playing Doomsday on the weekend. Kai, what's up with Doomsday?
Well, like Doomsday is probably part of other spell combo, and you're wrong though because I will be playing Doomsday in either Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
So my plan for now is to play Modern on the team event. And then play 2 days Legacy straight. One of them is gonna be Cephalid Breakfast, and the other one is gonna be Doomsday. I just gotta like figure it out, like if I wanna do the main event of Doomsday or Cephalid or vice versa. But I cannot, like I don't think you can play the same deck for 2 days straight. I think it just causes way too much.
Yeah, that would be crazy, right?
Can we edit this?
Says the guy who top-8'd GP in Legacy. Oh, Judge, can I play the Legacy? Can I like play a different deck on the second day? It's just like you don't do that, right? Can we do like Sealed or something?
I mean, I'm gonna stay on brand. I'm gonna be casting Thassa's Oracle left and right.
That's true.
But but
Basically the same deck.
But yeah,
I mean,
basically,
both decks kind of mill themselves, right?
kind of like I only want to do combat math on one of the 2 days. That's just all I'm saying.
Okay, see, that's what actually. It's not about the deck; it's about the combat math.
Yeah.
Why don't I lend you Painter?
Does it play Thassa's Oracle?
Yep.
No. Well, that's too bad. What?
I mean, we could
It
play
can.
some kind of like painter. That's the alternative kill. If the opponent has Emrakul, we grind on ourselves and.
God damn it! Here we are. Here we go.
Nice.
Oh god.
But yeah, you're
think,
saying Doomsday is decent.
But generally speaking, like I think so. Doomsday, like not a lot of but first of all, not a lot of people play Doomsday because the deck is it is quote unquote complicated, and B, it just takes a lot of like maybe like courage or like dedication to just to accept that Delver is a terrific mid matchup, and not a lot of people are cool with that. Like, even though Doomsday is a pretty powerful card and like Thassa's Oracle is pretty broken, like if the most played deck is just such a bad matchup for you, it is sometimes like a little like soul crushing if you sit down and your opponent goes like Volcanic Island, Dragon's Rage Channeler, and you're like, okay, well, I'm technically already dead.
Is it that bad? Wow.
I wouldn't say that Doomsday is like bad by any means, and like in fact I top 8'd that European Legacy Masters like 3 months ago, and the metagame has not changed like that much since then because the Mono White Initiative was still like one of the top predators.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is and maybe the hate towards combo has like a little shifted towards like graveyard dependent decks, such as Breakfast or like anything like Memory's Journey or Guy's Blessing kind of cards versus like Painter, things like that. And like and those cards rarely like harm Doomsday strategies, right? So maybe you can get a little lucky, if you combine it with a little bit of like play experience and things like that. You might actually do well with Doomsday.
That doesn't really sound all that exciting. One of the Doomsday guys in the world, he's like, if you're a little bit lucky, you might be okay. It's just like, yeah, okay. I already know what you're going to be playing on Sunday.
Just please don't splash Expressive Iteration in that deck too, because that would be just horrific.
Yeah, I can see that. Anyway, so yeah, guys, if we go a little bit deeper, Callum already mentioned Grixis Delver, Snuff Out. What happened? Why are we seeing Snuff Out right now? I get some ideas, but you guys want to help me out? Or how come we're playing Snuff Out in Grixis Delver now? Or in Delver, making the Grixis Delver?
Snuff Out is the removal spell right now in Legacy. It is crazy to say. There is almost no black creatures in Legacy, and like Snuff Out used to be unplayable for so many years because people play Gurmak Angler and Deathrite Shaman and so on and so forth. But like now the most played decks are like usually Jeskai colored, a little bit of green, and Snuff Out just. Have you ever Snuff out of Expressive Iteration, man? That's just
ooh, that sounds good.
It's such a delight. I think the Snuff Out really like why people touch Snuff Out at the first place is because those Mono White Initiative creatures are somewhat resilient to Lightning Bolt, and Unholy Heats are just not fast enough. I think like by the time when your opponent goes like Seasons Dungeoneer, your Unholy Heats are simply just shocks. So you can't get them, and I mean, there are cards like Dismember, obviously, but just Snuff Out, just being a 0-mana card.
Yeah, the difference between 0 mana and 1 mana is like sometimes a whole turn, which is like night and day.
Exactly. And like what kind of freaked me out for like a week or two was like Grixis Delver players like having only a single Underground Sea but supporting like 3 or 4 copies of Snuff Out. And I'm like, dude, people, like, what the hell?
Because you're playing in the mirror as well, right?
Yeah, and like they just play as if Wasteland is not a card, and and
then you brainstorm, you daze your brainstorm, put it back, like, hey, well, not even value.
I mean, like, fun fact though, like because there's no Badlands or anything like that in those lists. Like if you Wasteland your Delver opponent in Surgical the Underground Sea, like you kind of get rid of like most of the removals. So like that's, I guess, like something you could do.
At least Murktide is kind of safe at that point, right?
Yeah, like I guess like Murktide is like another big reason for Snuff Out, right? Like mostly can't touch it with any of your balls. Like sometimes you can unholy heat it.
Did you just say you can't touch it with your balls?
With your balls.
Okay, keep going. Also, don't try touching it with your balls. That doesn't work very well. I assume
It's not good for your health.
I guess it also works like it's also kind of cool against Painter, right? You get to tap out and then you take out the Painter because it doesn't have that clause where it's like non-creature, non-artifact, non-black. It's just non-black.
It's not good against Painter.
Exactly.
I mean, it's decent enough against Painter, right? You also get to take out the goblins.
Can you work out why?
Oh, because
because
just
you name black.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Callum is on the next level.
Oh,
holy shit. Dude,
that's why we have
so many people.
that's why we have Callum on the cast.
I name black in the blind against Delver now. Yeah.
Oh, you do? You're at that point?
Yeah.
Dude, I love these
unless I need to kill a Dragon Rage Channeler with a blast, or I need to pitch a land to a Fury.
Because the stuff you really want to kill is already blue anyway, right?
Usually,
except for like you mentioned Dragon Rage Channeler. Oh, dude, this is so cool.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, like Snuff Out is crazy good versus Cephalid Breakfast. Unfortunately,
Snuff Out is just like it's good against the top 3 decks. I think Cephalid Breakfast is a bit better than Painter, so I'm happy to say the top 3 decks it's just crazy against. So yeah.
It's really close, like, and why Snuff Out is so good versus Cephalid Breakfast, and is that it is not damage, it just destroys the creature, and like Nomad's Encore is usually pretty strong versus like damage type of effects, because it has actually some relevant text. If you have like a useless Bellow Strix or a construct lying around, like you can redirect that damage to that, but doesn't work with Snuff Out, and that's about Snuff Out is pretty broken right now. It's also pretty expensive, so
Is it really like I remember it like as being basically nothing, and then was like €2 for a while.
It's like $10 or something at least. Yeah.
Wow, I have no idea.
It starts at $7.50. What is this? Okay, yeah, $10. That sounds about right. By the way, Kai, are you still not selling to Germany?
Of course not. I gotta stay on brand.
Okay. I mean, you're even flying to Italy to start selling your cars and your tokens there. Okay, yeah. That's some true commitment to not selling to Germany. Like everybody's like having embargoes against Russia and stuff, and Kai's like, no, Germany does. Like you're being like bankrolled by Putin.
No, dude. If you have a plan, and even a bad plan, you better stick to the plan, because otherwise,
that's actually true, because then you actually get to learn something. That's true. I can support that.
I'm still not learning, but yeah.
So Snuff Out, honestly, it makes a lot of sense to me. Sometimes when people like do weird stuff, I feel like, this is the flavor of the month. But like with the way the metagame is set up right now, I'm actually like super thirsting to cast Snuff Out and Diver. Like, whoa, I'm a big fan. Like, I want to say Submerge is my top 3 most favorite sideboard cards of all time, and Snuff Out is basically the same, but we play it in the main deck. And we're like, wow,
right. Like, don't you guys remember like the time when Submerge was just at the peak? That when when Maverick was tier 1, and like Zoo and all that kind of jazz.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, anytime.
And you got to Submerge Scrib Rangers.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That Script Ranger, like aka True Name Nemesis.
Best creature ever. Yeah. Okay, I'm totally sold on Snuff Out. I also know how to combat it now with Painter, after Callum has been enlightening me. And the other thing I wonder about, and I think a lot of people in Legacy have been wondering about recently, what is Ian Silver doing here? Like, how does he keep crushing everything with 8-cast Painter?
Just whitelist Magic Online. You pay like $30 a month, and you get to just draw all the best hands.
They still have that. I thought like when Worth Wolpert left.
It's for the special people.
Okay.
Jokes aside, Dean Silver's just always been an incredibly strong player. Like, he used to stream, and I used to watch a bit, and like he just plays super tight and has a really deep understanding of the format. So whenever he finds a deck that like he gets in tune with, so he's historically usually played depths and like always does incredibly well. But he also just like he used to do well just randomly with like Hogak depths and stuff, like just really weird combo decks that people don't really know how to play around. And then this blue like 8-cast Painter deck picked up from, I don't know the player's name off the top of my head, but he top 4 like one of the big SCG things, if I remember correctly. And that was the first time, like, people have been messing around with the shell for sure. Like, mono blue Painters was a thing, but not in this almost 8-cast kind of shell. And so I think Curses picked it up from there. And then you've put in the show notes, and I'm pretty sure this is right. He got like 3 challenge wins and a runner-up over 3 weeks. Yeah, he's just like absolute tear. And so
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So
that's like stuff you can't ignore. He's also, I'm pretty sure he's a co-host on that podcast that nobody can ever find. Accumulated Nonsense, I believe.
That's the one, yep.
I think they had some issues like distributing. At least they don't show up on my podcast app, but you know what? I'm actually going to look it up. Maybe I can listen in the browser.
Yeah.
So shout outs to them. I'm curious. He's probably going to share the knowledge. From what I've read, I think he was even like in some episode, he was giving out instructions how to beat the deck because nobody was really trying to beat it. And one of the things he actually mentioned was that people, and I think he mentioned it, like I'm not 100% positive on it, but that people should put in these Emrakul's, these Gaia's Blessings into their sideboard.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Like it's even less of a mid-range deck than Red Painter. Red Painter can win with damage quite easily. So I think this deck is even more weak to that. And what always puts me off with these kind of shells, like it's really powerful now, but Meltdown has been on a bit of a downtrend and stuff. And the moment these kind of the decks with 4 Mox Opal, basically, the moment anything with that kind of shell gets more popular, Meltdown will come back. I think this deck is weak to Meltdown, well, way more than kind of Red Painter,
way more than
and these sideboard cards as you mentioned. So the deck is really strong.
I guess on the upside, they get to play Hydroblast. I don't know if he actually, I'm going to look at the list. I don't know if he does. Is there a Hydroblast in the sideboard? I don't. Well, there's one Hydroblast. Hey, we figured it out.
Nice.
One Hydroblast in the sideboard.
they do have forces as well. Like
that's true. They have forces enough to summon in the sideboard
like,
as well. So
on that kind of note, when I was playing way more 8-cast, I was talking to Bob Wong about it. Against Delver, I kept losing to Meltdown, and I asked him like, "What am I doing wrong?" I'm obviously doing something wrong because he was beating it, and he was like, "No, what are you doing? You don't sideboard out Forcibles. You side in Force of Negations because the only way they beat you is with a Meltdown." So
smart.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
And I was like, "Damn, you smart." So yeah, maybe that's the key here. I don't know. I haven't checked it out.
Yeah, he's got like 3 more Force of Negations in the sideboard that he could bring in against that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Also, by the way, Haywire Might. We see that in these Saga decks all the time, and I think you also put in a couple of your Saga decks now.
Yeah.
Is it the real deal? Like, I love that, like in our version, like Black Red Painter, it's a way to finally get rid of Saga.
Yeah, so you can like hit
of Saga, of Chalice on one.
Oh yeah, so it does a bunch of things. Like it hasn't come up that much for me so far, but just having it as an option is nice. Like in a mirror, I've hit Fables and stuff. It can hit opposing Sagas. It can remove a Caldra complete. It can hit a
because it exiles?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is like a Haywire Might exiling instead of destroying?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
But, and then it can hit Chalice on one. You find it from the Saga. So I don't know. I've put it in. I tried it at the beginning and I wasn't super keen on it, but then more things kept coming up. And it's just like, it's a quality of life. I don't think any of these things absolutely need answering, but like for one sideboard slot, I found it was coming in a lot. So yeah, trying it out.
And you actually did have the green mana, like often enough.
Yeah, there's like 3 pedals, 1 Mox Opal, and treasures. I'm hoping it's enough.
Oh, treasures. See, that's what I missed. Okay. I guess that's putting it over the edge for me. I was actually thinking of going to 4 Lotus Petals in the list, but that's also because I was playing like 2 Virtuous Ruin in the sideboard, and I had that bad beat of like not being able to cast it.
Yeah. I mean, we could get into all the details, but like more pedals make sense, but they're just way worse in sideboard games because you have to play them out to play around dazes, then you get meltdowned and you get hit by Null Rod and Oof way more and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I know there's pros and cons for everything, and every time I'm like, we're talking about really small margins here. I'm not playing enough to be able to tell you that the 3rd pedal is better than the 3rd monkey or whatever.
For me it was like the Great Furnace, right? Because I think we played 2 Great Furnace, and Marius Hausmann recently, like when he won the tournament, he played 4 Great Furnace, and he was like, oh, I would play even more.
No,
and I was like, you know what? Let me try 3. And I got burned by the 3rd one quite a lot during the Cetera, so I'm like, probably going back to 2 again.
I've been on 2 for ages, and it's been one of the most popular questions in the Discord. Like, why don't you just play 4? It's like,
when you say popular, you probably mean like most annoying.
No, like it's fine. Discord is not very good for like finding previously asked questions for your own questions. So like, if I answer, it's because I'm in the mood to answer. If other people answer, that's because I haven't. It's totally fine. But like, it's one of the most popular things of like, why don't you just obviously play 4 Great Furnace because they're great with the goblins, but they're great in game 1s. But then like game 2s where you have the Null Rods or the Collect Roofs or like, you know, just Force of Vigors, stuff like that. When you draw 2 in these kind of sideboard games, it can be really brutal. So I play 3 in the kind of the heavier black-red versions that lean into the goblins more because you want to be having more things for defilers and stuff. But in mono red, I think 2 is where I've landed. Anyway, I keep going on these like painted tangents. but
yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So if had somebody picking up Painter, they like know Legacy, but they are not like super deep Painter experts or something, would you direct them towards like Mono Red Painter or Mono Blue Painter?
I'm not sure. I think Mono Red is a more stable one. It's potentially a bit harder to play. Mono Blue is you have way more fast mana. You have much more of a combo deck. You turbo it out, and like if you're not assembling Painter plus Grindstone, then you're playing like Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor to find Painter and Grindstone with a Force Will or two, and you're just playing your fast mana out. So I think...
Oh, because there's no Kappa Cannoneer or something to just like steal it.
Yeah, I
think
they have them in the sideboard sometimes. I'm gonna open the link.
This one doesn't even have them. No, there's no.
No, so it's a pretty straightforward...
Oh, but there's a Gaia's Blessing in the sideboard, loving it.
Nice.
Dude,
for the mirror.
fucking shit, like that card is all over the place, man.
Yeah.
That's probably like the super hot tech for the weekend too.
Is there like a super expensive one, like an FNM promo or something?
I think there is.
There must
there
be.
is a
I'm
old
pretty sure
Josh
there's
foil,
one.
I think.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like 200 euros.
I wonder if you start playing like Stifle or something for the mirror.
Oh, dude, by the way, at Et Cetera, somebody tried to stifle Sunburst. And for a second, I was like, what?
No.
But I mean, okay, that's what judges are for.
Yeah,
That's, the only thing that was weird is like they felt like pretty confident about being able to do it. And I was like, no.
Absolutely
Like they even made me question myself, like, wait, I've never thought about it, but I've also never seen it. And if I've never seen it, it's probably not a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, then you read the card and you know anyway.
Yeah.
That's like always like, oh, I should have just read the card first before I even like thought about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The question, I honestly like if someone's in this spot, they're both good. I just go what you think is cooler. Blue is more of a turbo combo deck. You have it arguably way more powerful draws. Like you can kill people turn 1 or very often turn 2. I think you can probably turn 2 people with a Force Will backup easily, and you play Metallic Reek and stuff. So I think it's the much more linear and probably arguably currently more powerful. But Mono Red is, I think, you have to change your game plans in game. You have to be flexible, and you do it with combat like at least half the time. It's got way more options.
I guess even though there's a lot of overlap, right? The actual strategy, the way they play out is
pretty different.
Quite different.
Yeah. Like Red Painter, you're comboing turn 3 and 4. Or like turn 10 something. So yeah.
Cool. There are 2 more cards I want to talk about. The first one is Atraxa. We already touched on her earlier on, and there's this discussion of like, is she the best fatty now? How does it work? Is like, how good is she really? Because even though like you guys, I think in the last podcast as we were closing it out, Callum, you sang the praises for Atraxa, and honestly, I'm not fully convinced. And I saw JPA's list, and JPA was like, yeah, she's good. She like pitches to forest and stuff. But it sounded like he also liked Griselbrand better. I mean,
I think those 2 creatures are like a little different. Like,
are they?
I mean, I kind of compare. Like, I kind of see them as like ad nauseum versus Past in Flames of some sort. Because like Griselbrand is like super powerful in turn 1 or 2. Probably more powerful than Atraxa in the early game, but as the games go longer, Atraxa becomes more appealing because you don't have to pay life. Sometimes, like if you show and tell like Griselbrand, you only have like 6 life. You can't activate him, and then you're kind of like on defense already. But Atraxa gives you the cards regardless. But I still think like a draw 7 or draw 14 is just much more powerful than an Atraxa ETB trigger.
Yeah, I think I can see like Griselbrand being better in Sneak and Show because you can. Just the sneak attack it in and then draw into an Emrakul and stuff. Whereas Atraxa, I think, opens up more new or different archetypes. So again, this no-show deck with Natural Order and Show and Tell with Omniscience and stuff. I think it's a solid deck. It's not going to take the world by storm, but it's solid. And then I think it just opens up more fair Natural Order decks in the format. Obviously, like Elves is probably playing one. And I think you can just go like kind of 3 or 4 color Natural Order decks with her as a top end as well, and just play this very grindy game. I think
what I just like don't like about her is the idea that she comes into play, trigger goes in her stack, she gets taken out in response, and then you have to start again. I mean, you have more cards, but tempo is critical in these decks sometimes. I mean, she's being played for lifelink, I guess.
But you're building around that happening, right? So when I was playing it, I had Lotus Petals and Sorcerer's Plowshares in my deck to regain some tempo after the card draw. Like you can find an artifact and an instant with her and stuff, and you get a Force of Will as well, or instead of the swords if you want. Like
Oh, you're actually thinking ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the deck building went deeper than I gave it credit for.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tempo loss, but again, like, so you're also playing it in a deck with Hierarchs usually. So in this one, I was playing Noble Hierarch. I've seen people play with Ignoble Hierarch as well. You're playing Icefang Quaddle, which is like, more creatures on the ground. You're not just going like turbo natural order and hope that she sticks. Like, that's not what the shells are doing. And it's still a new kind of area. There's not even an established archetype. I mean, as another example, I saw Archon play kind of rhinos with like Shardless Agent and stuff, but then you can with Dryad Arbor as well, and so you can just like fetch and then Dryad Arbor into Atraxa, or you can sacrifice a Shardless Agent or a Rhino for her as well, and then you're playing like all these free spells. So you have your Endurances, your Force of Wills, your Furies, your whatevers. Like that's tempo as well. So
which kind of edge do I actually get over playing like the more traditional Griselbrand decks?
Well, another thing is you can play her in Blue-Black Reanimator, so with a Griselbrand as well, but she pitches to Force and she pitches to Grief, if that's the direction to go. Like, I don't have all the shells available right now, but I think she just opens up more options for these kind of decks. We're not going to see... I think No Show is probably the most unique kind of new deck with her in, although Blue-Green Omni was always a kind of a thing, but now you have Natural Order as well, so now you have like 3 Atraxas and 3 Omnisciences and 1 Emrakul to put in with the Show and Tells. Then you have these like 3 Natural Orders to go and get with it. I was playing like 3 Teferi as well and some Swords main deck. So you are playing this like slower, grindier game. And obviously they always have Forces as well. Like, I don't know, I felt like the deck kind of caught up the tempo enough.
The thing is, the one thing I could actually be convinced of, and also something I heard on the weekend when I was talking to people at Et Cetera, is the re-emergence of Blue-Black Reanimator because of Atraxa.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I could be sold on. But other than that, I don't know, man. Griselbrand's just like so insane.
Well, I think Kai's like answer is totally correct though. Like you want the option, right? So the deck's they're going to still play both. So like early game, Griselbrand's better. Late game, Atraxa's better. I think it can be boiled down to as simple as that. I kind of agree with you though that.
But I guess both can't be snuffed out. Okay.
Yeah. Like I will agree. Like I know we've said this in other podcasts, but I think Force of Will is sometimes a bit of a trap in Reanimator. It's not great. Like sometimes you want to basically be a mono black deck, but Faithless Looting is the red version, and it's definitely better than Careful Study. But it was always the problem with Force of Will was like finding enough blue cards to play. Like Ponder and Brainstorm were weirdly bad in the deck. Like you want to just be faster than that. So I do agree that like playing Dark Ritual and being faster is probably better than playing cantrips and being the slower thing. But that Force of Will wasn't bad in the shell because it was a bad card in the shell. It was bad because you couldn't up the blue count and still be this fast enough to get under.
I mean, people played like Hapless Researcher and stuff.
Yeah,
and I mean, Days was decent enough, but Hapless Researcher, come on, man.
But now, if you play enough Atraxas, there might be enough blue cards to play some Force of Will as well. And look, I think Force of Will is a better card to draw into with like Griselbrand than extra discard. But you'll play both now. So again, you have these extra pitch cards for Grief or Unmask and Force of Will in Atraxa. So I think that could be a big selling point for it. And yeah, again, Griselbrand's better early. She's better later. They're both just good anyway. So
I mean, I'm totally down for like Reanimator going back to playing fairer creature. I mean, fair is already pushing it, but she just feels not a lot, but quite a bit more fair than Griselbrand. Well, and I enjoyed Reanimator the most when it literally did that thing, right? When the way for Reanimator to win was to first put a creature into play to stabilize. Like what's the white creature called? Archon of something.
Oh yeah, Archon of you can't attack me. No.
You kind of did the 8 or 9 mana Archon, which basically said creatures can't attack you. And then like that's the first thing you put into play to stabilize, and then you get like your second creature, and sometimes even your third creature to win. That's the Reanimator I knew and that I loved. And
there was like Imperium Archangel as well.
Imperial Archangel, yeah, that was a thing as well, yeah. Like 2009-ish.
Blazing Archon.
Blazing Archon, that's the one. Amazing artwork also.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. As I said, I think Atraxa is really good, but it's not gonna like completely. It's not like, oh my god, what do you do? This completely changing metagame. It's just a very good addition and evolution for a bunch of decks.
Okay, we will see how it works out. And then one last thing, and it's kind of funny. Nobody like really talks about that card right now, even though I guess you see it every now and then. And that's the what's it called, Mercurial Spelldancer.
Mm-hmm.
Has that card really done anything? Because like if you only listen to Twitter, it feels like, oh my god, that card is insane. At least on my timeline, it gets mentioned quite a lot. And I think some of the Summers have actually done well with it and have built decks with it. But I don't really see it anywhere really like making a big splash yet.
It's been here and there. I think this one I stayed quiet on because there was potential there, but it's okay. Like it's solid. It can do some really flashy things, like, you know, copying iterations is really strong, and copying Snuff out or him if you're doing that kind of stuff. Like, it's a solid card, but I think it's like it's not like it's so strong that it's a 4 of, because it is a 2-drop and it needs some work to get going. It's worse later. It has problems and it has a really high ceiling, so it's a solid card, but I don't think it's going to change much.
Yeah, like I played against a card yesterday at the Showcase Challenge. I mean, obviously I got crushed, but generally speaking, though, the Spelldancer does need far more setup than Dreadhorde Arcanist. So like, it is not as oppressive and like pushing. Even if they landed on turn 2, like you can if they resolve it on turn 2, you can probably assume that they're gonna like double Expressive Iteration on turn 4 maybe. But that gives you like 2 whole turns to deal with a 2/1 that's blastable and like dies to anything. Sometimes you can even win the game even before they do the first Spelldancer thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I guess it depends on which deck you play.
Yeah.
I get. You know, just spell
like
to
the
them out already.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, as a very avid Fury enjoyer, I'm so happy there's a 1 toughness creature that I can kill along with the Dragon Rage Channeler.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh yeah, just play the full play set, and you know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely not
fired.
shooting down the card because I haven't really seen enough of it yet. Especially I haven't played enough against it yet. So I think there's. Yeah, I don't have a fully formed opinion. Is that something you're allowed to say on the podcast?
Yeah, well, I think what's been happening right now is that people are just so focused on beating the top 2 decks, like Mono White Initiative and Delver. And Spelldancer, like, while being a decent card, is just not the best versus, like, either deck, I think. You need better cards. Like Snuff Out is a super strong card in like against both decks. So like Counterbalance is extremely good in the Blue Red Mirror, for example. Like those type of cards, right? And Spelldancer is generally a good card, but it kind of targets all the decks above. All the decks below, and those are already good, like decent matchups anyway. So I think people probably don't see the need to play Spelldancer.
That's a good point about the need, because I almost like I want to say I noticed a pattern, even though it's not a very strong pattern, as like a lot of data is in Magic, and that is when we look back at like all the CMC2 creatures that have been played in these, like, let's say Delvar or even like Tempo Shells in the first place, I almost feel like unless something is so broken that it warrants a ban, these 2-mana non-aggressive 2-drops rarely last. Like, when we see 2-drops, like, they're supposed to be aggressive and get you over the line. But all the other ones that we have that are more mid-range oriented, that's like Pyromancer, Ironclast, Shredder, they didn't really stick around. Like, Dreadhorde Arcanist, yes, that was good, but also that got banned. And Pyromancer was good when Grixis Slayer was around with like Deathlight Shaman, and then Deathlight Shaman got banned, and Pyromancer hasn't really been much of a thing ever since. And I don't know if that's just like a gut feeling that maybe these tempo decks don't really work that well with like value-oriented 2-drops. Because you know that feeling, right? When you feel like, okay, this could be a tough matchup, I might lose on tempo, and then they play like, I don't know, Shredder or Pyromancer on the second turn, you're like, okay, at least I get to breathe a little bit. It's not like something that's gonna murder me immediately.
Exactly.
So that's not like a very strong opinion. It's more like an observation. That's something that came up when I was thinking about it on the way home from work today. That like all these 2-drops, maybe that's just like not something we can do. Maybe requirement-wise, we are caught in a place where it's either too good or something else is too good that makes it too good, that pushes the whole edge, that makes it playable but also bannable, or it's just not there yet.
Well, you also gotta like look at the mana curve, right? Because like Delver usually plays very, very few 2-drops, and like Bergtide is already a 2-drop, and Expressive Iteration is a 2-drop too. And like, you know, if you compare it to like tempo decks like from way back in the day, like Grixis Delver with like aka Young Pyromancer, Deathlight Shaman, Grimrick Angler, I think the only 2-drop was in fact Young Pyromancer. or like or like Tarmogoyf decks only play Tarmogoyf and maybe him to Torok. Like,
and Tarmogoyf was aggressive, right? Tarmogoyf hits you in the face for 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Like, you can only play this many 2-drops in a deck. Like, imagine if you have an opening hand with like like a land, maybe a cantrip, and then you have like 3 2-drops in your hand and a Force of Will. Like, that is just not a good mana curve, So I think like if for a 2-drop to be good and to be good in Delver, like it really needs to compete with like Murktide Region and Expressive Iteration. Those 2 top are like people that I'm calling for bans on those cards. Like that's just like how good those are. So I think like I'm not saying that Spelldance has bad, but like you really have to be good to compete with these 2 cards. That's all I'm saying. So.
Maybe it's really in that Letter Shredder position, right? Where it's like if you see it in a deck, it's not the worst, and it's like playable, but it's also not outstandingly good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think and we're at a point in Legacy where like cards have to be absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Otherwise you should probably just play something like Cephalid in Nomads and Core, like super video.
yeah. That's why Callum is playing that Looter dog or whatever
Scrapbook
it's
Mutt.
called.
I will not take any offense on this podcast.
Best 1-drop and it's even a 2-drop, right?
It's a 1-drop. You play it.
Oh, is it? It feels like a 2-drop.
You play it for ancient tune.
See, here we go. Okay.
Speaking of 2-drops, just before we close stuff out, there is another 2-drop I want to talk about that's new to the format. We haven't played with it yet. I want to see what you guys think of Fairy Mastermind.
Oh, that's
I saw that Yuta Takahashi, aka the Fairy Lord.
First of all, oh my god, what an absolute knockout the park for Yuta. Like, everyone knows him as the Fairy King. It's so freaking cool. I
his
love
Twitter
it.
handle is like @Verdillion, right?
Yeah. So he is clearly just like so happy with it. It's awesome. I love him as a player. I'm sure most people do, and it's just awesome. So after that gush, I think this card is pretty good actually. So it's 1 in a blue.
You want to mention what?
Yeah, so it's 1 in a blue for a 2/1. It's blue. Creature Fairy Rogue, and it has flash, flying. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. And the secret Doomsday hate is 3 in a blue, each player draws a card.
Dude, I saw that. I a part of me was like, what the heck? Like that draw card thing was kind of unnecessary. I think, but like I would be super stoked if there was a new, maybe like a fairy deck. It's probably like tier 3 or tier 2 if best, but like I just want to see like some spell sort of sprites again. Bitter Blossom, like that guy, maybe even some ninjas. I don't care, like that sort of jazz.
Dude, I remember when I played
so
Barnes Survival, and you could literally just survival up a counter spell and space out a sprite. And can you imagine that?
That is so cool.
Those are the days. Like your opponent does something, you're like, oh, let me fetch my counter spell from the deck.
Discard a Boston Root, or like get a spell out of sprite.
Dude. If you could give me like a week or two, I could probably just come up with a fairy deck, and probably also gonna contain Nomads and Core and Cephal Illusion.
I was gonna say you take a week or two.
So it's
come on,
dude. You can like spell sort of sprite deep the Swords of Plowshares on your Cephal Illusion. And so like, how cool is that? That's pretty sick.
Sweet.
Yeah. No, but I like the card. I like the card quite a bit. I also like that it's 2 mana, which actually like makes it very reasonably playable as opposed to 3 mana. I also like that the effect is not as crazy punishing as in something like, the opponent can't draw the card, but you also get the card draw.
Agreed.
I guess it kind of comes down to the same card economy-wise, but it makes the game more varied because now both players like have an extra card. So I'm quite happy. I could even see that card. I don't know, like we go back to like how viable are 2-drops.
Flash is a really strong ability.
Yeah, sideboard card is like kind of hard, right? Sideboard cards. I want my sideboard cards to be slightly more heavy hitting, but I mean it covers a lot of bases. So if you can come up with like a mid-range deck, you could very much play it. I'm just not sure what the shell is gonna be. Do you have any ideas?
I think people might mess around with like 1 or 2 in Delver even. I think it's good.
Main deck?
It's good in the initiative metagame. So if something happens to initiative, maybe it'll go away. But like just a flash creature is strong. So you can like, leave up a bolt if they want to try and forge their White Plume Adventurer or whatever. They flash it in, take the initiative, blah blah.
Dude, it's also really good against Monarch.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, true. Like flash flying is just a strong ability in the format right now, I think. There's going to be some other formats, like Baleful Strix is very popular. It's not very good against Baleful Strix if you're trying to attack and block, but it does more things than that. Like it's really easy to just get your card back. So if you play it in response to like a Ponder or a Brainstorm, you're gonna get your card. So I don't know. I think it's just very easy in blue mirrors for it to replace itself, and then it's just like a free body that then when they play more cantrips, you're going to draw another card. So they do need to kill it, and then you have the activated ability, which probably doesn't come up that much, but it might. I mean,
it's a nice bonus, right? Especially against control decks.
Yeah. I think this is like probably doesn't end up being in the Delver main deck, but it's. I think the power is almost there. I think it's just going to be very good in blue mirrors as well, which, it's an arms race. Maybe you don't ever need that. But it has, as we said, like, you can steal the initiative on Monarch. It's a pretty powerful effect to have. It's also a flash threat against combo. So, like, you just leave up your Pyroblast, whatever, flash it in, and then you're getting cards if they're trying to cantrip and set up more for the future. I think it just does a lot of things for not much effort, basically. So...
This is the kind of card I want to be good. This is the kind I want to be playable.
Yeah. I don't know. I really think it's going to be... Like, it's not going to be like a 3 or 4 of it. It's going to be like 1 or 2 of in a main deck, maybe 1 or 2 of in a sideboard and stuff. But, yeah, it's nice.
You like it, Kai? You want to play it in Doomsday?
I want to play it in Cephalid.
Oh, sorry. You're the kind of guy who no. I don't want to be associated with this Doomsday deck anymore.
Quickly, but play it in Doomsday, and then you're comboing off, and you have it in play, and in response to Thas Oracle, they just cast a Brainstorm, and you die.
Oh my goodness!
I was trying to set up the joke, but you got it.
Sorry.
No, not
so
good
would
enough.
You play it in breakfast, Kai?
Oh, well, it already has flash, but I guess you can also Violet in. Then it has some extra flash. I don't know.
Nice.
Extra flash.
You guys come to this podcast for hard hitting and the details.
No.
Yeah, look into it.
Yeah.
Extra
like I said, I
sorry.
Maybe I'm too doom and gloom about it. I somehow just I don't see it in Delver. It's like we could keep going back to the 2-mana thing, right? But I want to see it somewhere. I could even see it, I don't know, and maybe that's crazy, but
well, the problem with
4-color sideboards, like as a 1-off or 2-off.
Yeah, that's very much what I'm thinking as well. I could see it there. Just as I think it's good against combo and fair blue, basically.
Yeah, in a way, it reminds me a little bit of Vendilion Click, right? Which also is good against combo and fair blue.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's also another Yuta Takahashi card, so it's pretty on brand.
Yeah. I also love the artwork. It actually looks like him, right?
Yeah, really.
Like with the glasses and everything.
Well, I mean, Julian, it better does.
Yeah, of course, but okay, cool. Yeah, super excited for that card. Also, it's probably going.
I will just add, I don't see it in the same way as 2-drops and stuff. This is not like a Pyromancer or a Shredder or a thing. I think Flash completely changes how a 2-drop should be evaluated. True. So I don't know.
That's true.
I think
yeah, we talked about
chance,
right. Yeah, how you're relieved when they play a non-proactive 2-drop.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, they could keep anything up. By the way, a card they could keep up is Minor Misstep.
Mm-hmm.
Has the card done anything ever since it's been released? I've seen it in some of the Sumo lists, and I hear that some of them really swear by it.
I don't know.
Yeah, the card got a lot of attention at first because, as people remember from way back, Mental Misstep was just a crazy good card. I think as you see it, a few you almost never see it in any main deck, except if they're have super strong reasons to have a hard counter for Swords to Plowshares or anything like that. But it's mostly competing the sideboard slots with things like Blue Elemental Blast, Fluster Storms, things like that.
Would it be a sideboard card? I don't know. To me, it's either a main deck card or nothing. I could be wrong.
Sure, if you want to main deck it, I would probably advise you to play some Uro control kind of card, so you can just get rid of the early threats, and then kind of drag the game to turn 3+ territory where you can do your Uru thing.
Okay. Oh.
But the problem with Minor Misstep is that there are so many other good options in Legacy. As I mentioned, those blasts, either blue or red, they're crazy powerful. They also cost 1 mana. Your deck only consists of 16 plus 15 sideboard cards, and slots are pretty tight, I feel.
Yeah. That's why I feel it doesn't really strike me as the kind of thing that I want to bring in from the sideboard. I'd rather have it as a versatile thing in the main deck, but I don't really see it anywhere. And as you mentioned, also the main deck is super tight, right? Especially if you want to add more reactive stuff to your tempo deck. So I don't know, maybe, yeah. I was trying to see something there because I've seen it here and then in lists on Twitter, but probably not good enough. But maybe slightly better than we thought it was going to be, but... I think Callum actually called it a thing that's going to be played for like a while and then completely fade out of Legacy.
Yeah, I still don't really see it. It's been better from what I can kind of get a feel for from people's play experiences than we said. I haven't listened to it back, but I'm pretty sure we trash talked it quite a lot, right? So I don't know if there's a hat we need to eat yet, but I don't know. It seems like it's doing okay, but like it's just not exciting at all. And I still am gonna stick with it's gonna fade out and linger, and it's fine.
Like,
but
like here's like an example. Like I tried the full playset in the Cephalid Breakfast sideboard, for example, because I thought it can counter Swords to Plowshares and Red Blast and so on. But I ended up switching it back to blue elemental blasts just because I ended up in situations where you have minor misstep and your opponent goes like Expressive Iteration, and you're like, okay, well, if that was a blue blast, and that's how you lose a lot of the games, right? Because minor misstep is just it's just a little too specific. I think it just targets not enough spells.
Yeah, my worry when you're playing it is you feel priced into countering one of the first 1 mana spells you see because it's awkward leaving
just
the mana
you
up
can
and
do
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Also if you play your own expressive iterations, right? As you mentioned, you want to trade it off early on so you can free up your mana to do your like other stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you tap out for your expressive iteration and then you don't have the mana to cast it when you otherwise wanted to, I don't want to be the guy casting minor misstep. I want to be the guy who has his stuff minor misstepped, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think so. I think that means you're saying it's not very good.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, okay, we will see. Episode 200 is coming for us eventually.
Yeah. Next week, Minor Misstep takes Legacy by storm. All mana cost 2 and above is banned.
Yeah, 32 copies in the top 8 of 4 seasons. Here we go.
Yeah.
Including all of us playing 4 copies.
Yes.
Shoot you out. Anyway. Cool, guys. Before we close it out here, I want to highlight one of the deck lists. We're going to link it in the show notes. And that is coming, as we teased earlier, from Johannes Gutbrot, who won the Et Cetera Freising 48-player tournament with what I want to call Cheskai tokens. That's the best thing I can come up with. What would you name this deck, guys?
How does it win?
Tokens.
Yeah.
So
dude, this is super old school. This is a Monastery Mentor Jeskai deck. Yeah.
Is this really?
It's like
school.
Almost Turbo Mentor. Like it's got dazes, baubles. It is making lots of tokens with mentors and iconoclasts.
It reminds me more like of what it used to look like in Vintage. But,
exactly. I mean, maybe you want to go like through the deck list. It's basically a Monastery Mentor / third path iconoclast. Token producing Jeskai control deck with just a bunch of forces, a force negation, daze, lightning bolt, swords to plowshares, prismatic ending, power blast, all the interaction you can think
from
of.
there, right?
Pretty much, like it is a Jeskai like mid-range deck with 0 planeswalkers, not a single flying creature, which I'm a little worried about, but a truckload of removal. Iteration, which is kind of like holding everything together, I think. And the sideboard has like basically all the miracle cards, like a single Jace the Mind Sculptor, a single Counterbalance, a single Entreaty Angels. Like what?
A single Palace Trailer, a single Supreme Verdict.
This is like basically it's like a Jeskai control deck with I
wouldn't even call it a control deck. Like
a 2015 Miracle sideboard.
Like I wouldn't even call it like after sideboarding, you can very much sideboard into a Jeskai control deck. In the main deck, it's almost like an aggro deck. When you think about it, like it doesn't really have any kind of staying power other than like the mentor tokens. Like there's no way to create like inevitability or something. It has almost no card advantage except for 4 copies of Expressive Iteration. It runs 1 Mystic Sanctuary and I guess 3 dazes. But overall, like this is the kind of deck that can be exhausted pretty quickly of its like resources. But the whole idea, right, is to just like run out the mentor, protect it for a while, and even if it dies, then the tokens are gonna do the rest of the damage. And then after sideboarding, depending on what you need, you can play a much more of a control deck. But we haven't really seen something like this in a while.
No, we haven't. But I've also not seen Johannes Gutbrot in a while, so it's kind of on brand again.
I will say I don't usually swing this way, but I've never wanted to cast Trinisphere more in my life. I just want to Trinisphere this deck so badly.
Yeah. We got the 7 token producers, and that's literally the only way to win the main deck. I guess Brazen Borrower. Okay, whatever. By the way, Brazen Borrower is another one of those slots that I could see turning into Yuta Takahashi. I forgot what the name of the card is.
Fairy Mastermind.
Fairy Mastermind. It feels like the same slot to me.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
The Brazen Borrower has always been there as just like an out to Chalice.
Yeah,
or
I think
Merit Liege as well.
I think like this, like Brazen Borrower is like I think the 10th removal spell in this deck. Like this deck is just crazy. I think like a third of this deck is just removal.
Yeah, you're right. We got 10 removal spells. We got 18 lands, like super low to the ground. And then we are really just trying to spam out these token producers and get this. This feels so weird. This doesn't feel like a Johannes Gutbrot deck at all, but yet here we are. I wonder if this is actually like, even though it doesn't even look weird, even though it looks different, I want to say, I don't hate it. Like, I usually hate on Jeskai decks because they try to play like this late game, like yada yada, but this I can respect.
I just can't respect Jeskai. Sorry.
You gotta print a t-shirt. I can't respect Jeskai, and then you sit down at the first match of the tournament.
Icky color combination. I don't know.
Well, so let me ask you then, like, what is the coolest color combination?
Grixis.
Like,
Grixis,
hands down,
easy.
Bond. Grixis is the worst. No, Mardu is the and Grixis are the worst, and Bond is the best.
Okay, so did I hear Boros? Okay, cool.
I got you covered.
You cannot Bant is cool. I do like it, but like Grixis is objectively the coolest color combo.
The thing is about Band, it's organically synergistic, whereas Grixis is tons of like weird cards that are like.
Dude, you're talking like a vegetarian, dude. Holy shit.
Do I? Okay. Anyway.
Look. You can have your salad bowl of Bant over there. Me and Kai are going to be having these like crazy on fire shots at the cool bar.
Yeah, but Exalted, man. Exalted is just the best ability ever. Exalted might be my favorite ability.
I think you got some Exalted down in the Grixis dungeon. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Broomer. I think it's time to close off.
We can all agree that Mardu is literally the worst color combination.
Let's get Grandpa to bed.
Yeah, please.
Okay, anyway, before I go to bed, guys, please, everybody, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, or if you want to, you can also support us on patreon.com/everydayeternal. Try as I blow my nose, this is your captain speaking. Please support us on patreon.com/everydayeternal to join the Discord. Have a great time, and keep the lights on here. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at EternalMTG. We got Kai at Savatarix. We got Callum at Callum Smith MTG. And we got me at It's Julian23 on Twitter. And with that, big shout outs to all of our supporters all over the world, all the many people that I got to meet at Et Cetera, and that we're probably going to get to meet at 4 Seasons. Definitely say hello if you want to. You can also touch us. It sounded weirder than it was supposed to.
I like it.
Only for Crystal Print tier supporters, right? No, but also shout outs to our Eternal Witness tier supporters, Salvatore Orico, Tommy Hinks, Testacula, Sebastian Holager, Guillaume, Sean Dewey, Francis Cooper, Cassandra Davis, Benedict Gruber, and Severin Schwarzhuber. And our Grizzlebrand tier supporters, Victor Bernatz, Bachi Butts, Scott Monroe, Jeremy Gates, Henrik Korkutz, Tom Hepp, Andrew Whitman, Kane, Ian Seefeld, and Fritz Sternert. Thank you, everybody. See you in Italy, and we'll be back next month when we'll figure out how Kai is going to spend all his winnings from 4 Seasons.
Heck yeah.
Wait, what?
Awesome.
I'm going to win.
See you. Bye-bye.
Ciao.